Welcome to Game Changer Weekly. John, how are you doing this Tuesday evening?
I'm doing all right, man, but there's something more important we have to ask. Fuego del Sol, how are you doing this evening?
I'm doing well, guys. I'm doing well. I'm glad to be here.
Hell yeah. So I usually like to start off the show with an intro, and we have one written for you also, Fuego. So listeners, I'll just say hello. Clown, Reed Harris Cooper, great one. Who else we have? TJ from Havoc Pro Wrestling is in here. Ishmael's in here. Nice to see all of you. Thank you for coming in. I believe we have an Effie raid that's about to pop off here in another minute or so also. So thank you for that in advance, Effie. All right, relax. Let's do an intro for Mr. Soul there. Listeners, we have a very special guest with us tonight, Fuego del Sol, a.k.a. El Fuego, a.k.a. KJ Orso, a.k.a. Cage. He's the master of the DDT, hailing from Mobile, Alabama, 29 years old, been wrestling since the age of 14. He's wrestled over 400 plus matches in his career, with the most he's wrestled in 1 year at 67, doing that twice in 2021 and 2024. That averages out to almost 40 matches a year. He's the most notable for his appearances on AEW. It's also the company he's appeared for the most at 81 matches. The second most appearances would have been for World Class Revolution 70 times. He's a 5-time champion, averaging 131 days per major title reign, and his longest title reign, the 3XW Heavyweight Championship, 217 days. Some notable stables and tag teams, we have Too Fast, Too Fuego with Cody Rhodes, and a House of Fire with Sam Stackhouse. Fuego's participated in 8 tournaments in his career. My favorite that he's been in, the best named tournament of all, the Walker Texas Ranger Tournament. His first match at GCW was GCW So Alive on December 4th, 2021, and since then, Fuego's wrestled 26 matches for us. He debuted on the PWI 500 in 2024 at number 435. Fuego del Sol is a shining example of perseverance and passion in professional wrestling, having risen from humble beginnings to leaving an indelible mark on the industry. He first gains attention as Cage, running the popular YouTube channel KBW, that's Kids Backyard Wrestling, where his high-flying antics on trampolines captivated over 150,000 subscribers. Transitioning to the indie circuit in 2014, he honed his craft across Oklahoma and Texas before catching the eye of All Elite Wrestling in 2020. His relentless spirit shined despite an 0-34 losing streak that led to his triumphant first victory in 2021, followed by a heartfelt contract offer from Sammy Guevara on live TV, cemented his status as a fan favorite, showcasing his ability to inspire with both his athleticism and his never-give-up attitude. Listeners and fans, I'd like to welcome to the show, Fuego del Sol. How you doing tonight, Fuego?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good. Now, I do not want to shortchange that intro at all, okay? Really great stuff. However, there's a few statistical errors in this, which I just want to, as you pointed out, I wrestle in Oklahoma and Texas a lot, which means I wrestled for a bunch of crappy promotions over the years that just are not on Cage Match, which is pretty much where a lot of these stats came from. And so I've wrestled more than I've wrestled way more than over 400 matches, and I definitely have wrestled more than just 64, 67 matches. I think 2024 I wrestled 85 matches in the year, so that's the most I've ever wrestled, was last year in one single year. Also, notable tag teams. I'm never teamed with Cody Rhodes. I just want to put that out there right now. Never once have I ever been billed as teaming with Cody Rhodes. I have teamed with Fuego Dos, who is my son of Fuego, but I've never once teamed. Last time me and Cody Rhodes were in the ring together, he gave me a pile driver, and I'm not happy about it, to be honest. So I just want to throw that out there, without insulting you, because phenomenal intro, breaking down, my introduction to the business, what all I've done. I appreciate the research put in. I just want to say that some of the sources that you used are incorrect. That's all I want to say. Not saying that you aren't well researched, because you are clearly well-read individual. However, I got a lot more experience under my belt than some would know. And I've never teamed with Cody Rhodes. I would love to, if he wasn't dropping me on my neck with tiger drivers, but absolutely. Thank you again for the intro.
Thank you so much for clearing that up too. Every now and then, actually, yeah, about once every intro, I'll hit something off. It's generally going to be the cage match, or cage matches. Count on matches. Half the time, they're not covering quite a few of these smaller companies. That has bit me probably 2 or 3 times before too, honestly. Because I'll have someone come in, I'll say 400 matches. They'll be like at 550, 600. It's just they were on more local shows or whatnot, and it just didn't get. So
yeah, I mean, a lot of these people don't report to cage match, or cage match is unaware of them, and I completely understand that. And I understand, and that's why I'm not fretting about it at all. I feel like my work speaks for itself, and sometimes it's more about quality than quantity, anyways.
Well, every match matters too. So sincerely sorry, and I'm happy you got that straightened out. There might be some new listeners tonight, and you earned every one of those numbers.
I appreciate that. I do. And that's why I like to let people know. I feel like, especially before AEW, like I was virtually an unknown to most of the wrestling world. And so a lot of things that happened before AEW is like, there's a lot of just things that people don't know or don't know about and things of that nature.
Well, go ahead, B. I know you want to get in here too, brother.
Well, I was just going to ask like the first question there, kind of where I first saw you was the vlog on Sammy Guevara's YouTube. So I was going to kind of ask how.
Oh, you just got muted. There you go.
He muted himself? Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I can't hear him for a second. I'll just jump in real quick. It might be he knows usually what's going on. So I'll go ahead and start real quick while he's doing that. I want to start with KBW because I know that was something that B was wanting to talk about. B, can I hear you real quick or?
Yeah, it should be good now, right?
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Oh my God, my bad. No, I just want to ask like how that's where I first discovered you. Where did you first discovered for that?
I mean, me and Sam go way back. It's funny that John brings up KBW because I had the channel blow up probably back in about 2012, 2013. And it was getting big numbers. But unfortunately, I moved away from the town that I was doing KBW in for college. I moved to Oklahoma. And while I was in Oklahoma, I was looking to expand into Texas during the off season. I moved to Oklahoma for college to play soccer. And so I was playing college soccer. And so during the off season, I would go back into wrestling. And so I was really trying to expand into Texas, and I sent my resume out to a ton of like Facebook pages of just different organizations all throughout Texas. And I scrolled across one of them, and who happened to be their world champion? A kid named Sammy Guevara. But I didn't know him, never heard of him. I just saw him on that clip when I was scrolling through Facebook. Literally 2 weeks later, I get a random email to the KBW YouTube page. And it was basically saying, hey, I am an independent wrestler trying to grow my YouTube following. Is there any way you could post about me on your channel, Sammy Guevara? And I was like, man, this is crazy because I'm trying to expand to Texas. If you help me get booked in Texas, I'll post about you on my YouTube channel. And it's funny because over the years, we would just keep doing that. He helped me expand. He got me booked all over Texas and even into Mexico a little bit. And I kept helping him learn the ins and outs of YouTubes and tags and thumbnails and different titles and things of that nature until eventually he got signed to AEW. And I remember he even told me previously before it was even confirmed that AEW was going to be a thing. He calls me like in November and was like, hey, don't tell anybody, but I just got signed to AEW, which was like a huge win. It felt like I was living vicariously through my best friend to see him get signed as well. So it was awesome. And so when the pandemic hit and things happened, of course he was going to bring me in. I was already being on a ton of vlogs anyways. Like anytime we were on same shows in Texas before the vlog ever really blew up, I was doing things with Sammy. It's always awkward to have to try to either film yourself or ask someone to film. So it was just one of those things because I was helping him with YouTube already on the back end of things. I was just like, hey, if we're ever on the same show together, hand me the camera. I'll film whatever you need me to. You don't have to be embarrassed. You don't have to act like you're bothering anybody. I got your back as long as you help me as well. And that's what we did. And so when the pandemic hit and people got stuck in Canada or Japan or Mexico and they started booking extras down in Jacksonville, Sammy brought me on. And like, again, I would help him with the vlogs. And of course he would put me in them and things just snowballed from there. I started winning executives over in the back, and I got brought back over and over again. And then I started getting on the vlog with different executives of the company that just helped snowball things from there. I got to show off my personality and how funny I can be and how creative I am. And I think it was a clear example of hard work pays off, because like it translated over into my reactions when they slowly started letting fans in and things of that nature. So it was cool.
Now, I've heard from Sam that Oklahoma can be a very difficult place to break into. It seems like he said that people are a little, I'm trying to think of a good word for it, but it's like dog eat dog, because maybe there's only so many spots and there's so many wrestlers. Have you seen that Oklahoma and Texas can be a little like competitive when it comes to getting jobs?
Sam is a nice guy, and y'all know this. Sam is a very, very nice individual. And because I did not, like, originally I'm from Mobile, Alabama. I had my first match in Florida. I trained between Alabama and Florida a ton. I have no loyalties to Oklahoma. Yes, I've lived here for damn near 10 years at this point, but I have no, the scene is bad. There's just a lot of bad wrestlers and bad promoters running a lot of bad companies. Now, I don't want to shit on everything. I would like to shout out WFC, Wrestling for a Cause. There's a charity event that they run every month to help raise money for kids with cancer and things of that nature. And they book good talent and bring in good talent. Skylar Slice was a promoter and a wrestler from the Tulsa area running Core Championship Wrestling. That is a good promotion. I help run the school at Texoma Pro Wrestling Academy. Texoma Pro Wrestling, bring in good names, book good talent. That is a good company. That's about it. I mean, there's a few companies in Oklahoma City. They're garbage. It's sad because the scene needs to be better. But yeah, I think that's the biggest problem, is that you've had training slip through the cracks over the years of just half-trained wrestlers training, half-trained wrestlers training, and it just becomes really sad. And so I don't want to say it's dog eat dog. It's just you don't want to wrestle here. And like I always say, if you're the best wrestler in any locker room, find a new locker room. And I think Texas, you have much more opportunity to get down there and wrestle. It's just people don't want to drive the 2 to 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 hours that it takes to want to go get on shows. And again, I'm sorry. I have now went on a tangent about why I don't like Oklahoma wrestling, but I'm being honest. I think, you know, anytime someone shows even just the smallest bit of talent in Oklahoma, I tell them to leave the state, because that's how they get better. Cappuccino Jones recently, who got signed to WWE ID, was a standout in Tulsa. He did a Gabe seminar, and now he's everywhere, and he's not wrestling in Oklahoma as much, and I'm happy for
him. In your earlier years, who do you really want to say took you under their wing?
Ooh, I mean, I'm very thankful to what you mentioned. The second place I've wrestled the most at is World Class Championship Wrestling. They originally started as Imperial Wrestling Revolution. They were IWR. I have a uncle who's not technically blood related, but I'm Native American. He's also Native American. And so when he knew I was coming to Oklahoma, he made sure to help get me on and do some things. And I got to wrestle so many big names so early on in my career. Like a year in, I'm wrestling Chavo Guerrero and Ricochet and different names of that nature that help spread my name and help make me better. And so Al Farrat and Jerry Bostic, who helped both run that World Class Revolution, I definitely would have to shout them out. I don't know if they necessarily took me under their wing, as just giving me a chance and an opportunity, and I'm very thankful for that. But I think a lot of it is just grinding, and I think I've always had a grinding mindset. I work my ass off, and I would make trips by myself down to Texas or up to Kansas City or all over the place, just 6, 7, 8 hours in the car by myself, because I wanted it that bad. And I think slowly but surely people saw that and took a liking to me. Like Lance Archer, who was a Texas guy, saw that and helped give me book places and always took care of me and spoke up for me in AEW, which is someone I'm like very thankful for. But I think over the years, I just made good friends in the right places. And I think people can recognize a good attitude and hard work. And that's, a lot of the reason I've gotten as far as I have in my career.
Yeah, you show a lot of discipline in a couple different areas, even when it comes down to just getting on the mic. It's something that at least it shows that you have put time into making sure that you sound like a professional. So kudos to you for that, because we're still learning on our end over here, me and V. What was the most unexpected advice you'd gotten from a veteran wrestler that kind of stuck with you? air the gear out at the end of the night, or is it, like count that money before you leave? Is there anything you can remember that just kind of stuck in it,
Well, I mean, this is the epitome of name dropping what I'm about to do right now, but I'm gonna do it because you just mentioned promos. And I remember my first promo on television, real promo, was on a Rampage where I was calling out the House of Black. And I was really nervous about it. And so I asked if I could run it by CM Punk. And Punk said, come to my locker room. And I did. And he says, I know they're going to believe it because I can look in your eyes and see that you believe it. And as long as you believe what you're saying, they'll believe what you're saying. And that was like the biggest piece of advice I could ever get. You just have to believe. A couple weeks ago in Atlantic City, I was in pretty much enemy territory. Atticus Cogar is beloved. And fans are chanting bullshit in the midst of my promo, but I didn't give a damn what they were chanting because I believed every word of what I was saying. And I refused to let it shake me because, chuds are going to be chuds. You know how it is. I'm going to just stick to my guns and say what I believe. And I'll always say it with my chest and stand on business.
All right, then. Let's go. Let's flip the script a little bit. You're walking into the locker room. You see a young Fuego, 17, let's go 18 years old.
Ooh.
You get to sit down with young Fuego and say, son, let me teach you one or two things. What would you tell him?
Get in the fucking gym, you pipsqueak bitch. That's what I was telling him. I was like, you think you're good? You look like a 12-year-old boy. Get in the fucking gym. What are you doing? You can't claim to really love this business or be passionate about it if you don't go put in some time and some effort in the gym. You want to be on TV, you need a TV body. Stupid idiot. Go work out. That's what I would tell him. That's the first thing. And then everything else, just keep doing what you're doing. Be confident as a motherfucker and just go to the gym. That's the biggest thing. I feel like I would have been so much far. I mean, I got signed 7 years into my career, and I'm very lucky. I'm not, trying to knock the fortune that I've come across in my life. I'm just saying I want to be as well-rounded as possible. I want to knock out all facets of this business. And I feel like my biggest setback for so long was my body. And if I would have just woke up and realized what I needed to do and establish the discipline that I needed in my life, I would have been a lot further, a lot sooner. And that's what I would say to him. And I think I was so eager to get into the wrestling business early on that I kept the mouth shut, ears open attitude of just everyone knows more than me. Don't say a word. And I feel like I almost kept that mindset for too long because I didn't stick up for myself in situations that I should have. I didn't want to come across as a arrogant green guy. And I feel like that hindered my confidence over the years. It kind of beat it down and killed it. Whereas if you look at KBW Cage at 17 years old, I thought I was the best backyard wrestler in the world and nobody could fucking touch me. And I almost look back at that kid and I'm envious of his confidence because I'm like, ooh, I've almost let that hinder me over the years because I never wanted to be the guy who didn't respect his veterans or spoke out of turn or come across as a guy with an ego or bad attitude. And I feel like sometimes you need to let that shit talk.
Sometimes you need to let it breathe just like that too. Good shit, man.
I had a quick question with you talk about the body transformation. You just had a match recently against Zack Sabre Jr. and I think that was one of his biggest knocks. And then he kind of had the body transformation and took his game to another level. Did you possibly have any talks with him of maybe like a routine or some advice regarding that?
I wish I could talk to Zach more. I feel like the match got dropped on us so quick. I mean, I think Jordan Castle said it was a 4-hour notice. It was less than that. It was like an hour and a half notice of like, hey, you guys are wrestling. And so I was just so locked in and focused on the match that I barely spoke to him about anything else. I pride myself on my confidence when it comes to being able to walk through the curtain and controlling a crowd. I feel like in AEW, it was a little more difficult because I feel like I was surrounded by wrestlers that I thought were at the top of their game, maybe even better than me. And on the indies, I almost feel like I am the best wrestler in the locker room, no matter where I go. And I feel like you got to have that mindset in the right places while also being realistic. But I knew how damn good Zack Sabre Jr. was. And to get it dropped on me last minute like that, I was the most nervous I've been in years. And I don't know, I don't know why exactly, because like I'm pretty good about staying poised and keeping my composure and controlling a situation and not letting the situation control me. But in that moment, I was like overwhelmed with, I think, more than even just having a good match or impressing the crowd. I kind of just wanted to impress him. I wanted him to leave the ring saying, I respect Fuego del Sol. That's what I wanted. And I think that's the part I was the most nervous about, was more than anything else. So I wish I could talk to him more about life. And I think now that now that I do feel like I earned his respect, I do feel like we will have much more conversations. He'll be in Vegas that whole weekend. I'm sure we'll have a pint and have a good time talking to each other. But no, I did not get to speak to him about that. I'm so glad he took his game to another level. He became the leader of TMDK. He won the G1. He won the IWGP championship. He deserved all of that, and he worked his ass off for it. And I'm very happy for him. I'm more happy for him now after I've gotten to wrestle with him and see, just experiencing firsthand how damn good he is.
So are you good for a match too if that happens on the drop of a dime?
In a fucking heartbeat.
Yeah.
Give it to me. Give it to me. I would love to do it again. This time, though, I'm going to let him know I won't be nervous. I'll take his best shot, and I'm going to beat him next time we're in the ring together. Mark my goddamn words.
I wanted to just go over this real quick for your newer fans. And I do know I see a couple newer names in here. Could you possibly name a match that you're proud of and would like everyone to see as an introduction to Fuego?
Ooh, that's a good question. Over the years, I've struggled with this deeply because I'm such a harsh critic of myself. And there's different strokes for different folks, right? Different people like different styles of wrestling. And so some people enjoy something they can sink their teeth into story-wise, and some people like a fireworks show, right? Like there's a sabotage wrestling match with me versus Eli Everfly, which is just a fireworks show through and through. It's crazy. It's insane. It's got a bunch of wild spots. I absolutely would say, hey, check out me versus Eli Everfly. But I could also give people other matches. I feel like right now, the best stuff I've done in my career has been in GCW over the past year. You look at the first Blake Christian match in Dallas. I look at the Mance Warner match in Tampa. I look at the Jack Cartwheel match in Atlanta that I recently just watched back. I look at the story with Charles Mason that I did, and I look at me versus Zack Sabre Jr. I know that newer fans would hopefully know all of these. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like more than anything, the thing I'm proudest of in my career is that regardless of the match, I feel like I find a way to make people like me and believe in me and root for me. And I think that is the through line through all of my matches, that it really doesn't matter what your favorite style of wrestling is, or, you know, who you think I have matched up with best, you know, opponent wise. I feel like just having this weird unspoken love from the audience, you know, this underneath babyface fire, I guess you could call it, that just, there's something about me that people relate to and are, you know, attracted to, that I'm very thankful for. And I feel like it's something you almost can't teach. You just either have it or you don't. And luckily I was born with it, and I've tried to hone it and shape it and, you know, make the most of it throughout my career. But because I'm just such a harsh critic of myself, I don't know what match I would tell people. I mean, there's a great match on YouTube right now from RCW, River City Wrestling, where I wrestled a 7-foot tall guy named Bo Amir. And it's like, it is the epitome of like a David versus Goliath match. I feel like you want to see me fight from underneath and like try to be as creative as possible with my mindset and moveset, and like, you know, sticking and moving and trying to climb this mountain and overcome this massive giant. I think it's a beautiful match to watch and see. There's a match between me and Mysterious Q from New Texas Pro Wrestling that happened like a month after I got signed to AEW. I got tossed off the stage at Arthur Ashe Stadium at Grand Slam by Miro, and then I had to wrestle this guy the next night with taped up ribs. And I feel like it is just a masterclass of me fighting through pain to wrestle this, behemoth of a man and try to survive. I feel like those are just some of the matches that pop in my head. But again, you ask me tomorrow and I'll have 17 different answers. I'm so sorry to ramble.
No, that's a great problem to have. Could you imagine only having one good match to pick from? Fuego versus Miro on the first ever Rampage is my personal favorite. The emotion, the stakes, and how it was firing on all cylinders from start to finish. Maybe a short match, but man, it was a great one. That was from the Nacho Man, Randy Sausage.
Yes, that's one of my top followers and top fans. Appreciate you saying that, Lou. I think the Miro match is one of the best matches ever that's under 5 minutes. I mean, Ricky Marvin and Kenta, it's up there, so I'm not gonna shit on that. But I feel like top 5 best matches under 5 minutes. First Miro versus Fuego match. I mean, all the emotion behind it, the fact that we could convince them for even a second that I might beat Miro shows I know how to do my job pretty well.
Ishmael Carmichael also says you're the HBK of the generation, shows true emotion, good storytelling, and have the best matches. I
appreciate Ishmael, again, a guy who goes out of his way to support me and watch almost everything I do. He's probably watched more Fuego matches than I have. And I mean, that's crazy to say, but he does. He goes out of his way to watch all the streaming platforms, and he's probably seen more matches than I have of myself. And so I appreciate Ishmael giving me that high praise. I don't know if anybody can touch HBK emotionally, but I do my damnedest. So I appreciate that. Someone who very much inspired me is HBK. So I appreciate the high praise. But again, I think some fans will call you delusional for making that comparison, but I appreciate it.
So then speaking of GCW, I was just kind of wondering, how did GCW find you or vice versa?
I mean, I think it's no secret that one of my best friends in the world is Marco Stunt. And so Marco, was a staple of GCW for a good bit of time. And when I was doing AEW, and me and Marco became very close, I told him that one of my goals was to get to GCW. And, he tried to put me in touch with Brett, but I don't know if Brett was feeling the AEW jobber boy energy that I was exuding at the time. But I remember it was probably June of 2021, probably a month before I got signed. They came to Dallas, and I just drove down there to meet Brett in person and tell him how much I wanted to be a part of this. And I was in the midst of, all the AEW vlog success. I hadn't got signed yet, but I was, on the verge, which I didn't know at the time. But I just told him, this is a place I want to be. And, I hung out and talked to all these people. And eventually, I think it then became October or November that I finally got on the first card. I was in a scramble where I coincidentally gave a Canadian Destroyer to Sam Stackhouse and won the match. But again, even after that, things with AEW was taking off. So I really didn't stay in contact with him a ton, but I knew I wanted to get back to GCW eventually. And then I would just constantly talk to Joey Janela about it. Of hey, I want to be a part of GCW more. And Joey kept slowly putting in words for me. So so much credit goes to Joey because I know he put in words for me for years before Brett just got sick of it and was like, okay, let's put him on a damn show. And so especially when I got released from AEW, I knew that there was only one place I had to get to, and that was GCW. So I started trying my hardest to get down there, and I knew, Brett liked Stackhouse, so me and Stack would just jump in the car together and try to go make something happen. We did that at WrestleCade weekend a couple years ago where we were in a big 10-man tag, GCW versus the World, and then we got ourselves to Phoenix for a match with Chris Bay and Man Like the Reese, which was a super fun tag match that had no right to be as good as it was. And I think that helped open his eyes to okay, we'll book this kid more. He's from the Texas area. Let me put him against Blake in Dallas. And I think that match murdered. And he was like, boom, well, we'll talk way more. And I think between the Man Like the Reese match, the Man Like the Reese and Chris Bay tag match and the Blake Christian match, I felt like I earned the respect of Brett in a way of okay, he'll grind and come make stuff happen. And so that's how I got to really GCW in the part of where I feel like I was getting constantly booked. There was that short match, scramble match. There was that one scramble match back in 2021, but 2024 is where I think things really took off.
I think that tag match in Phoenix that you guys had, yeah, it was being live, that crowd was just hot, and you guys just set the tone from that first Phoenix show. And yeah, I think that was kind of like a big jumping point as well. Like, just I think Brett felt the energy you guys brought in that match, and how creative and like that was like one of the best matches I've seen live. Like energy wise, just especially at a new venue, it was awesome.
I know, and you got to think like me, Stackhouse, Darice, virtually unknowns compared to Bay. Especially in that area. And then for us to knock it out of the park the way we did, I just felt like boom, it was immediately put us in a different mindset and on a different level to GCW fans and Brett alike.
Yeah, you were coming into enemy territory on that one and just killed it. I think.
Yeah, I thought the match started slow, but I feel like it slowly just picked up and went nuts. And I really am a fan of that match.
Well, kind of real fast going to the enemy territory. Quick fan question. James asked, would love for Fuego to talk more about the Atlantic City experience a couple weeks back and the crowd cheering as your mask was being taken off.
Yeah, I don't think it's necessarily hate for me as much as it's just love for Atticus there. I wrestled Charles Mason there last August, and I got a great reception, and people really did enjoy the match and they booed Charles when Charles took my mask off. So it's very funny. I think it's more about their love for Atticus. This is Atticus' first time there in 3 years. So I understand, people longing for him back, especially in deathmatch territory and like Atlantic City, have their weird thirst for blood. And I get it, I can understand it. But no, again, it really didn't affect me much. I watched this man basically torture my best friend in front of me, and the only thing was on my mind was revenge, and that's all. Nothing could. My mother could have been getting stomped out next to me, and I wouldn't have realized it because I was just so locked in on beating Atticus Cogar up at that moment. And so, yeah, fans, it didn't faze me. I don't think at all.
So that's the issue here is that, people were cheering one way or the other, but you had to fight against fan nostalgia. With Atticus, you're fighting against all the good memories and everything that fans remember from past times. And it's really hard to be anti-nostalgia because that's just what the fans seem to live off of. They want to see the guy come back after a couple years. So you were already given like an uphill battle, and I still think you kicked ass in it.
I appreciate that. And it says a lot. Like, do you want fan reception if they're cheering a piece of shit? It kind of just makes me think they're pieces of shits too. So I really don't need them to cheer me if they're cheering a piece of shit like Atticus Cogar. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not the type of fan base I'm looking to, curate at this time.
That's not your church.
Exactly.
Quick question here. Sammy's vlog crew from AEW to GCW. What promotion would Fuego like to go to next?
Whichever one pays me more, I'm accepting bookings. Book fuegods@gmail.com. I go where the money's at. I'm trying to make a living doing this. But I don't want to discredit or overlook what has brought me to the dance. I think you want a company to believe in you, and then you will return that love and reception. I feel like GCW has given me the ball, and I'm just trying to run with it. So, I would like to be as many GCW shows as possible. But first and foremost, I got to rid GCW of this garbage ass wrestler first, and then I'll get back to my goals that I've set for myself.
Man, you're on him too. You're just you hit the ring and you're like, listen, be a man. It's time. You were going straight to the manhood too. You're like, you know what? You do all this talking. I'm standing right here. You keep picking fights. You keep messing around with my people. Here I am. And for some reason, I'm facing you just like this. And all of a sudden now you don't have the guts to do anything about it. And I think you've been straightforward from day one that you aren't going to back down, and you're on offense against Atticus, which is very rare in the wrestling world. Atticus is generally always on offense, messing with people's minds. You're in his mind, which is very different than most storylines you'd see Atticus go through. There's not a question there, but maybe there should be.
No, but I'm trying to see how I can put this without coming across as a fucking asshole. I just genuinely don't like him. Like, no character bullshit or no like I don't like Atticus Cogar. I don't like what he represents or what he stands for or like this bullshit mindset that he has about GCW. We clearly stand on two separate sides of the fences. And like, that's what I straight up told Brett and Joey. Like, first and foremost, he took that shit too far with Sam. And it's like, people can act like, oh, it was such a cool angle. No. Sam was fucked up for real. And I'm not trying to fucking pull back a curtain or do some bullshit. I genuinely think it's bullshit what they did and how far they went. Okay. And I literally couldn't do a damn thing about it because I was tied up. And if I could have got untied, it would have been a whole different situation that day in Phoenix. And then the only time he's ever had any type of advantage over me in ring is when he's attacked me from behind, or his brother has attacked me from behind, which has happened now multiple times. And like, you can be I'm not even trying to fucking shit on deathmatch wrestlers. Be a deathmatch wrestler. I fucking love Dr. Redacted. Motherfuckers worked his ass off and like shown what type of style you can have and get over with the GCW fan base. I fucking love Mr. Danger. Motherfucker grinds, drives hella far, just trying to make shit happen. Let that motherfucker. I love these types of people. What I don't like is a motherfucker like Atticus Cogar, who, you know, I don't even want to get into his past issues with GCW because I wasn't here. But I am here now, and I'm saying this as clear as I can say it. I don't want to be here if he's gonna be in the locker room. That's where the stipulation stems from to begin with. If you want Fuego to stay on the roster, then this motherfucker's got to go. And if fans don't like that, I'm sorry. I really, truly am. But I feel like GCW is thriving right now. I feel like I am thriving right now, and we're thriving together in a way that I feel like is genuinely good for business. And what is not good for business is to have a volatile, fucking childish bitch in the locker room like Atticus Cogar. I'm sorry to even, like, people are going to come at this like, have a bunch of different opinions on this, but I'm just being honest. I'm being as dead fucking honest as I can be about it.
I had my question. I had my question. It totally just went over my head. So at this last weekend show, your reaction to having to put your mask on the line seemed to be more like that seemed to affect you more than putting your GCW career on the line. Can you explain why that mask means so much more right now to you than the GCW career? Because the reaction was kind of, to me, a little surprising, but obviously I know the history of masks and luchadors. I just wanted to hear your explanation of it because the way you kind of looked at Sam was kind of telling that night.
I mean, Sam told me don't do it. Sam shook his head and told me don't do it. I mean, I can tell you how I feel about it, but I'll put it like this. I have a 8-year-old daughter who literally just maybe an hour before this podcast started, found out about this stipulation. And she coming here almost in tears saying, "Dad, please don't take your mask off." I said, "I'm not taking my mask. You don't have to worry about it." She's like, you're a superhero. You are, I can look up to you and I can cheer you. Like, and I was like, "Babe, you don't have to worry about any of this." But like, I get what she's saying. For 11 years, I built this like mindset and lifestyle and, put so much stock into not just being another guy, into being Fuego del Sol. And I feel like this is not just a match, but it's a symbol more than anything else of like the hope that I bring, the attitude, the mindset, the good vibes that I constantly work my ass off to exude. And I feel like for him to want it is like, I feel like my motive is clear. I don't like you. I don't like what you represent. Leave the company. I feel like his motive is out of fucking left field. For what reason do you want me to take my mask off? Like, are you that sick and twisted and fucking cold-hearted that you just want to take something from me because you enjoy taking shit from people? Or what? Because like, it just makes no sense to me. This mask, it elevates me. I said it in a promo a few weeks back. It's somehow able to amplify my presence while also shielding my humanity. And it's the perfect barrier to entry between my real personal life and my professional wrestling career. And so to try to muddy those waters and take that from me just because you're a fucking shitty person is disgusting, to be honest.
What do you feel about him having to wear other people's masks as a masks, kind of like Megan Bain going into Hammerstein? We've seen him in past also wear a pig mask and other sort of mask. Seems kind of contradictory for him to call you out on a mask when he seems to hide behind it when it fits him.
I have maybe 10 million better things to do with my time than to try to understand what goes through that sick fuck's head, right? I could try to make excuses for him. I could try to find some humanity in the motherfucker. Maybe the trauma that him and his brother went through growing up, he hasn't worked through yet. Maybe he had people hurt him in his life, and the only way he knows how to get through life is to hurt other people. I don't know, but I know as a grown-ass man, you got to work through your shit and figure things out. But clearly he hasn't. So I'm not going to be his therapist, and I'm not going to try to relate to a person that constantly has to obsess over people the way he does. That's the only way I know how to put it.
Now, some fans are asking, does Atticus have a point, though, that Fuego could have just pulled the mask off and saved Sam? Or could he honestly not get the mask off?
I mean, that never even went through my head to take my mask off, to be honest. Like, this is... First of all, there's so much tradition behind the mask and what it means to people. And like I said, man, my 8-year-old daughter looks at me like a superhero, and to see just, a man with issues and problems and not the superhero that I constantly become when I put this mask on, to take that off in a moment of weakness is something that I know Sam understands why I didn't do that at that time. But honestly, it just didn't run through my head because it's such a part of me. And like, this is my face. It's not just a mask to me. And so like, why didn't I cut my hand off to, go say, like, that's basically what you would have to tell me. And like, Atticus might have thought that I was selfish for doing that, but Sam Stackhouse didn't. And like, cause Sam knows how much this mask means to me and how much time and effort I put in to make it mean something. See, look at my boy in the chat right now.
Got your back already. Got the mute button on, Jones.
Well, he was shitting on Lucha, and you look at the fact that if you would have taken that mask off, that's a complete compromise right there. That would have blown everything you've spent, a decade and a half to build. And Atticus would have just said he won just by having you get out of that mask. And yeah, I think that the career versus career, I know a lot of people were talking, especially on this show, saying, you know what, we kind of know Fuego is like, he's the guy. Chances are, if there's anybody getting that big job, we figured Fuego's going to be the one. And it was really nice that you're able to also come on here and just get everything kind of, put together in one piece, because with people like us, with fans, we only see what we see. But it just seems like this last week, you really cleared everything up nicely and put it in the proper place where it should be. And I think that your mask is way more important than your GCW career, to be fair.
I agree to an extent. I feel like it definitely changes how people view the match. But to be honest, like, I don't want to wrestle Atticus at spring break unless all this shit happens, right? Like, I'd much rather be wrestling Effie for the world championship. I'd much rather be wrestling Masha for the JCW championship. I'd much rather me and Sam Stackhouse be wrestling Violence is Forever for the world tag team championships. Goals I set for myself at the beginning of this year. But out of nowhere, this sick fuck had this weird obsession with me, and then wants to just turn down a match at one of the biggest shows of the year. It makes no sense to me. I straight up told Brett, I've told Joey, I don't like him. I don't want him here. I don't want to be in a company that he's a part of. And so that was my stipulation. Loser leaves GCW, because I have no doubt in my mind I will beat that bitch and send him packing. Where go back to Circle 6, go do some other bullshit. I don't care where you go. You just can't stay here. Simple as that. But and if that's the only way I gotta even get that stipulation down and out, is if I have to put fuck it, I'll put anything on the line, bro. Throw it all, put it all on the line. Yes, it doesn't fucking matter, because I'm beating his ass. And I'm walking out of GCW saying I ended Atticus Cogar's GCW career, and I'm fucking proud of it. I don't want to leave. I don't want to go nowhere. I haven't signed a goddamn contract. You know, I clearly stated a couple weeks ago, I'm done with AEW and Ring of Honor. That was my last time there. I don't need that. Where I want to be is in GCW, and I want GCW go, and I should already fucking have it, or at least an opportunity at it. But I can't, because I'm focused on this stupid bitch, and I cannot wait to finally move past this, move on from him, not have to worry about him being in a locker room full of great fucking talent that deserve to be there, unlike him.
And then you've got someone like Sam Stackhouse, one of the biggest super heavyweights you could even consider out there. One of the strong men, has your back at the drop of a dime, just like you had his. So I can tell you that you have the fan base behind you. You have Sam behind you. You've got family behind you. I think you've got about as much as you can behind you, just willing to just push with you. So I want to just tell you, just keep pushing as much as you can, because we're seeing the uphill battle you've got here. And we'll see what happens. I know that B and I both will be there live to watch it. This is going to be wild in Las Vegas.
My life is like, I'm going through a lot of real life shit in my real life. Without saying too much, it sucks. I've got a lot of bad shit going on in my life right now. The only thing that keeps me sane and that I feel like is on the uptick is professional wrestling. And so having that dichotomy that you got to work through every day, having people that support and believe in me is a good thing. And I cannot understate how much Sam Stackhouse means to me, and how much I love that guy. It's like, it is crazy. It almost makes me emotional thinking about it, man. I don't want anyone to succeed in the wrestling business like I want that motherfucker to succeed. I don't try to push anybody. I mean, he'll tell you himself that I'm hard as fuck on him just because I want him to fucking make it so fucking bad. I feel like his attitude and his just his how good he is in the ring and how dynamic he can be and the potential he has is unlimited. And I just want to see that dude make $1 million. And like, it sucks that we haven't even gotten farther than we have in this past year. I feel like we've done a lot of good things, but like I said in my promo this past weekend, every time I feel like I take a step forward in this company, I get knocked 2 steps back. And if anybody deserves success more than I think myself, it's fucking Sam Stackhouse. And I want to help be a catalyst in that and push him along. Because the only thing better than succeeding by yourself is doing it with your best friends. And I want us both to succeed so fucking much. And he's such a shoulder to lean on in my real life that I want to help him as much as I can professionally. And that's just some of the things I'll say about Sam Stackhouse, because I could talk about him forever.
You two are just so natural together. And I think that's also what fans see, is there's just intangibles that you either have or you don't have. And you were talking about that earlier with kind of the, we'll just say the character that you've been put into. I don't have a better way to put it right now, or the story. Like, people don't think about 0-34. That's a story. People don't understand that was a whole long story that was fantastic, especially if you were invested in watching like we were during COVID. We're getting all the wrestling we can, and we were watching you every single week and like, is he going to get it this week? Is he going to get it that? Yeah, people don't realize, man, that's just more than just matches. That was a whole story playing out there. And I think that's the key to why even people like you now, is the fact that they had that exposure and said, okay, this guy's had heart since day one. He's somebody who's trying his ass off. And it's kind of funny. You were talking about Danger earlier. he has tremendous ability and a tremendous upside, but I can tell you, people are seeing the effort, and so I want you to know that I think a lot of people are behind you because of the heart and the effort, for sure. I mean, it's palpable. You can really see it. I want to ask you, who in the GCW locker room has brought out the most in Fuego?
I mean, it's weird because this GCW so week to week, and it just keeps going and going and going. So you wrestle different guys each week, and it's rare to really sink your teeth into someone and get multiple matches with someone. And so I think there's an emotion that is brought out of me when I wrestle Charles Mason, because it's another fucking weird motherfucker that I don't like. And I feel like anytime that I'm angry, I wrestle with a different type of aggression and just vitriol of like, God damn, I just want to beat this fucker up. And I think he's definitely one of them. And then I don't get a chance to really get violent that often, or, I've never been in places where it's so prevalent or even encouraged. So where, wrestling Mance was like a fun ass experience, because I was like, oh, we're about to go. Like, he just picked this woman's cane up out of nowhere and hit me in the back with it. Where is this woman? Because I got to go get this cane. I got to get my leg back real quick. Like, there's just there was a different intensity that picked things up for me in that match with Mance. And I would be remiss if I don't mention Atticus Cogar, because it's kind of fucking real. It's real is the only way I could put it. I don't like him. And you see it in like pro boxing or MMA fights where two people, get put against each other that just genuinely don't like each other. And for business, to make the money, you put your differences aside for one night and you go out there and you try to do what you got to do. But I just, and I hate this, because I try my hardest to wake up every day and be a genuinely good guy. So to just say I don't like somebody, it's hard for me, but I genuinely just don't like the guy.
Now, Brant, I wanted to ask, are there any other fan questions? I'm so sorry. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, there's a couple more here. I have one question that just popped in my mind just because you brought his name up and we had him on last week, Charles Mason.
I listened to a little bit of that, unfortunately. Yeah, I'm sorry you guys had to sit through that. Well, this man sipped glasses of wine and talked about,
the door's
potential
locked.
bodies hanging.
The door's locked this week, man. Well, he also made a comment. He's not a fan of one Atticus Cogar, and he would like to get his hands on Atticus down the line. You now have experience wrestling both of them, and we've talked last week about how a lot of people think that Atticus and Mason are similar. As someone who's had time in the ring and being hounded outside of the ring by both of them, can you kind of maybe explain the differences and possible similarities in between how both operate as wrestlers?
I think Charles gets a sick pleasure from causing other people pain. I think Atticus gets some sort of cathartic release causing people pain that he has suffered himself. I think Atticus has chased and almost tasted death multiple times, and he kind of likes it. And where I think Charles gets off on pushing someone else to potential death. He's not afraid to get wild and bloody and to take some pain, but he's more interested in driving you insane and causing you pain like that. Where I feel like Atticus, there's something just weirder and deeper in his psyche, where it almost reminds me of like a toddler. Mindset of like, he's crying inside and doesn't know how to let his emotions out, so he does it through fucking people up, and it's really sad. You can almost hear it in his voice. It's like a fucking bitch scream when he talks. It's fucking ridiculous, to be honest. But as far as I see it, I hope they get to wrestle each other. I hope they wrestle each other out on a boat and it goes down and they both drown to death, as far as I'm concerned.
I was told that the difference between Charles Mason and Atticus Cogar would be really well done in like a kindergarten scene where Atticus Cogar likes to go over to someone else's blocks and just kick them over. Whereas Charles Mason, he'll help them set up the blocks, then he'll kick them over.
That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it.
I want to be a little reflective with you for a second. No, we'll stop right there. I don't want to go to that part just yet. B, was there any other fan questions? Because I know there's plenty here, and I want to make sure they get their time.
Here we go. Jim asked, do you enjoy commentary, and do you see it as something you would like to do when you wind down in your in-ring career? You are great at it, in my opinion.
I appreciate that. I think I like to make myself indispensable. I mean, I was listening to Emil try to do a whole show by himself on commentary and do the ring announcing. And I feel like, Emil is only one man, and he's very talented, but I feel like just not only for his own, stress levels, but for the ears of the people watching, I feel like a 2-man booth is better. And so I saw that and I was like, hey, if at any point there's not a guy that'll go out there to help Emil with commentary, I'll do it. Not only because I like to, work on all facets of my game, but because I feel I'm such a huge proponent on bad commentary can ruin a match and good commentary can take a match to the next level. And I've hated it in the past where I feel like lack of commentary or no commentary or bad commentary has hurt my matches. And I am like just a huge proponent in wanting to help the matches more so than hurt the matches. And I pay attention to wrestling so vividly and in detail. And I pay attention to who's on the roster and who's coming in and what their moves are and what their mindset is. And I feel like if not me, then I feel like there's no one better. If if the A teams aren't there, if the guys aren't there, if there's no Jordan or Dave or Veda or Nick, let me jump on there and help out. And I feel like me and Emil have such good chemistry and can bounce off each other so well. And I try not to make the focus all about me. I try to focus on the people in ring. I feel like I'm trying to figure out the best way to put this. First and foremost, I got to take care of my family. I feel like, I got used to a certain way of living when I had AEW contract money, and I don't have that anymore. And so to make sure, that my family is taken care of first and foremost, I got to put that first. But the selfish part of me wants to be in this business for the rest of my life. And if that means, eventually when my in-ring career is done, becoming a full-time trainer or coach or producer or commentator or, authority figure or whatever, I feel like I'm destined to be in this business for the rest of my life. In what facet, I don't know. In how often I'm there doing something, I don't know. It all depends on how real life stuff shapes out. But I would like to be doing something. And if commentary is an option, I would absolutely do commentary. But because I very much enjoy it.
Just for a second, because I know a couple other people said it too. Personally, Fuego, bless you, sir. I think you're going to do what you need to do. All of us have different things going on. I just hope that any positive we can give you, bless you. We do want to see you succeed.
I really very much appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure, man. Any other questions here? Because I'm sure there's
we got about 4 more right now, then we could go do that. Sammy's vlog crew again asks, who from your past would you like to have a rematch with after years of development and change? For example, Ricochet, QT Marshall, etc.
I would definitely like to wrestle Ricochet for sure, just because I was so young when I first wrestled him, and I've gotten so much better. Anytime me and QT wrestle, I feel like there's some magic there. And like, if people didn't watch the vlog or haven't paid attention to QT's wrestling career, then they probably laugh at that statement. They probably think he's not a good wrestler. They probably think I'm a jobber. But if you watch the vlog and you paid attention to our careers, you realize how good we are and how much we bring out the best in each other. QT would have never turned heel and got a push on AEW television if it wasn't for that first match with me and him. And I think it just went to prove that when giving time and a chance to tell a story, I'm damn good at it, and so is he. And so I would love to go back. I'd love to wrestle Sammy Guevara again. I feel like, the night after I got signed, we did a show up in the Northeast for NEW Northeast Wrestling, and it was super fun. We main evented the show. That Sammy's vlog crew, Jess is the girl's name who's behind that she was actually there at that show in Poughkeepsie, New York. And I thought it was very good. But so I haven't wrestled him since 2021, so I'd love to wrestle Sammy again. But there's just so many wrestlers that I haven't wrestled that I would love to step in the ring with eventually. The possibilities are endless. And so, yeah, I mean, those two for sure, but it just depends, really.
Reed Cooper asks, if Fuego does lose, are you emotionally prepared for that?
I'm not even thinking that is a possibility, to be honest with you. It's not happening. And it's not happening. Simple as that. I don't even want to elaborate on the potential of it because it's not happening.
All right. TJ asks, who is someone in GCW right now or in the past that you would have liked to gotten in the ring with, whether it be as a team or standing across from them?
Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm so upset that we were in this company for a year together and I never wrestled.
Oh, he's so pissed. He said, fuck it. I ain't going to talk no more. You're doing your thing, man. It's all right.
You're muted. You're muted.
You're still muted. You're good. It's his turn. I had my moments. He had his moments. So it's Fuego's moment.
Allergies got me today.
You're good, brother. Take your time. I don't hear him yet.
Yeah, I don't hear you again yet.
It shows you're not muted, but it's not hearing you yet. That's okay. He can fix that for a minute.
Yeah, you're good.
Let's see. Because we're all about professionalism around here. If you haven't noticed, guys, let me tell you what.
If you hit settings.
There we go.
That's
We're
it.
back. Speedball Mike Bailey. I'm sorry. That's how adamant I want to wrestle him that I fucked up my microphone by saying it. Speedball, number one on the list. I want to wrestle Speedball Mike Bailey first and foremost. I think he's one of the top 5 best wrestlers in the world, and I would love to have mixed it up and challenged him. GCW guy. I feel like me and Gringo have wrestled in other places, but we never had a one-on-one match in GCW, and I feel like we would tear it up. I would love to wrestle Artez. I think Artez is so good. He's so innovative. I would love to wrestle him in a one-on-one match. Yeah, there's a ton of people. Cardona. Fucking let me wrestle Cardona. I feel like there's a story to tell there where I had this organic rise in AEW through YouTube and he had this organic rise in WWE through YouTube. There's parallels there in our career that we could touch on, so Cardona would have been a fun one to mix it up with. But yeah, I mean, there's a big list of guys. I feel like I want another one with Jordan Oliver when he's healthy again. We had one, but I would love to get more time with Jordan Oliver. I've never wrestled Alec Price. I want to wrestle Alec Price in a one-on-one match. I think we would murder it. He's got a pretty sick DDT, and so do I. So I would love to just, for us to get to mix it up.
Are you open to maybe joining teams with Los Desperados? You would fit the style, In
a sense, but I don't know. I feel like the only team that I care about is me and Stackhouse. And if we're going to add to it, it would be us adding to our group more so than me going and joining another group. Oh, yeah. Fuego and Stackhouse versus Ades and Loco would be crazy. That would be a way to fix that. Crazy. I just wrestled them in a tag match up at Demand Lucha a couple weeks ago with a different partner. But me and Stack could even up it to even crazy stuff, more crazy stuff.
You brought up Matt Cardona. If there is any interest in a possible Indie Mania for Fuego del Sol.
I mean, 1,000 people have already tagged me in it. If he is as social media savvy as he says he is and recognizes and checks his responses, I haven't had to say a damn word about it. People know who's fucking grinding on the indies, and it's Fuego del Sol. But first of all, how much is he paying? That's the real fucking question. Matt, you like to preach about getting your money? I'm trying to get mine, Matt. You want a good show? Put me on it. But pay me like it's a good show.
It's got that Cardona cash.
I'll say
Come
those
on.
merch tables. We'll see how good they really paid off.
I see how many Patreon members that motherfucker's got. Come on now.
What else we got here, B? Is there any other GCW questions?
That was it for that round.
Alrighty then. So yeah, we'll go into reflective just for a little bit here, Fuego. I love to pick the brains of performers just because deep down they're still artists. And artists have thoughts, feelings, and they're always constantly talking about their craft and their art. So I want to start with in your travels, have you fallen in love with any area of the country or world?
I think I've just fallen in love with traveling just altogether. I am a sucker for new experiences, I think, more than anything else. But I'm also a history buff. And so I like going on like tours of seeing like national monuments and things of that nature. But yeah, I think it's all about being new. You know, I love going to new places for the first time and seeing new things for the first time. So, you know, people say, like, what's your favorite wrestling gear? I'm like, whatever the newest set I got, because like I'm just a sucker for the new. I only have scratched the surface in New York City, and I just want to go see more stuff just because of how big of a history buff I am. I want to explore Los Angeles more. Most of the time it's within a 3-day loop that I'm doing stuff with GCW. So you're so freaking tired and focused on getting things done that it's hard to really see the sights and that you want to see. I have become a mainstay in Montana indie wrestling, which they only have about 3 promotions up there anyways, but I'm there almost every couple months. And I love the views up there, like the mountains and such. It is really beautiful up in Montana. So I definitely love that part of the country. And then just, you know, there's no place like home. I don't get to wrestle in Alabama often, and I truly love my city of Mobile, Alabama. So, you know, I think part of my love for it stems from me being away from it for so long. I've lived in Oklahoma now for 10 years. And so I just go back so infrequently that I miss it. And I just want to go there more often. So yeah, definitely that. But yeah, I think I'm just a sucker for the new and exploring new things, especially places with a lot of history.
So then I'm just asking, do you think the Fuego clan would end up in Montana?
I doubt it. I don't think I'd ever move up there.
Yeah. Get a little cold too.
Yeah, I'm not a cold guy, brother. I was born in the South. I saw snow one time ever until I was like 19 years old and moved to Oklahoma because it snows a little bit more frequently here. But but I am a bitch when it comes to cold weather. I will complain. My nose will run. I am a drama queen when it comes to cold weather. Give me someplace near the beach. You know, don't have to be on the beach, but somewhere where it's like a 45 to an hour drive. A lot of sun is what I need. I grew up in that humid ass heat of Mobile, Alabama. So that's what I'm used to. And I think that my body has adapted to that over the years, and it has not adapted to this cold weather.
Who's the one person you'd love to sit down with and talk to, living or dead? And what would you both like to talk about?
My God.
Hey man, I hear Shawn Michaels, I hear Undertaker. I mean, take your time. There's no.
You mean wrestler? You just said person ever.
Person ever. We haven't heard. There's a couple names we haven't heard yet, but yeah, we've heard across the board, man. Is there somebody you'd like to seek professional, personal advice with? There's a lot of good people out there.
Oh my God.
But we can come back to it. You want to come back to it? Maybe think about it?
No, because let me just take a second and think.
Cool.
Of course, there's like obvious answers that jump to the front of my head.
Yeah.
Like I got to do like a mini tryout match before SmackDown, like 3 or 4 years into my career. And there's like 4 or 5 different matches that happened in that time. And AJ Styles come up to me after the match. He didn't come up to anybody else. He literally come up to me and gave me like 2 minutes of advice. And I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. So I'd love to talk to AJ on a deeper level. And I probably can make that happen now, but I recently was backstage in Kansas City in December, and out of nowhere, Bryan Danielson sat next to me and just talked to me for 20 minutes about life. And like, I was a kid in a candy store. It was like, literally, there was a couple extras who I've known in indie wrestling for years sitting in front of me. And when Bryan got up and left, I leaned forward to them like, oh my God, that was the coolest fucking 20 minutes of my life. What the fuck just happened right here? Like the fact that me and him are cool enough for him to come and sit down next to me and talk to me, like I went to WrestleMania 30. I watched him lift the titles above his head. I was 2 months into my wrestling career or training. I hadn't even had my first match yet when I watched Danielson. And like, it was like the ultimate sign that a guy like that at that size could make it to the top of the industry. And like, so I was just such a giant fan of him. To say he's become a colleague and even like a friend is nuts to me. You know, I'd be lying if I said I didn't want to go to NXT and learn from Shawn Michaels. I'd be lying if I wouldn't want to sit down with Eddie Guerrero for a little bit of time and talk to him. There's wrestlers like that from around the world, but I'm also a bit of a philosopher. I'm a bit of a comedian. Like I would love to sit down with George Carlin and have a fucking chat for fucking hours, man. I'd love to pick the brain of someone like that. I am such a history buff and, you know, listen to so much American history. To sit down with George Washington and talk to him would be like a cool ass experience for me. There's these answers can go 1,000 different ways just because of, but I mean, my first passion in life is pro wrestling. So definitely probably be a wrestler first and foremost. Some of them, you know, I'd love to sit down with Andre the Giant and just hear stories from his travels from around the world, like the world of pro wrestling and the territories. And because he was the one who was almost never comfortable, but had to travel constantly to all the different territories and just how he thought about life being as big as he is. I think that would be phenomenal to talk to him about. You know, there's a bunch of different people like that. See, my mind goes to 1,000 different places when you ask this question. If I really sat down for like a week and thought about it and like went through my Rolodex of people, then I would be able to give you a concise answer of just one person. But right now, my mind is going a million miles an hour trying to think of like, how would I make the most of this time?
Yeah.
All right. Well, Nacho Man asks, Fuego, Brian Danielson retired while you were calling him out on Sammy's blog for months. What was it like striking fear into the heart of a legend?
Talk about somebody who dodged me while they were in AEW. That motherfucker dodged me. Yeah, I think he knew that I embodied the spirit of the underdog better than he did in his time. And he just did not want to face Fuego del Sol. But I did get to train with him before some of the AEW shows. Him and Regal like worked with me and a few other guys. And it was like, it felt like wrestling college. And so I'm very thankful for my time with that. I think I'm sad that he has semi-retired last year because I think at any moment in time, he is one of the top 5 best wrestlers in the world in any era. Like, it's crazy to just see how good that guy is at any moment. And I feel like that's someone I've aspired and looked up to for so long. I feel like I tried to embody that same type of fight and mindset and attitude that he has. So he's definitely someone high up on my list of people I would love to wrestle one day if I get the chance.
Any stories from any of the Blackpool Combat Club sessions?
I mean, just him and Regal are hilarious together. I don't feel like people understand. I was warming up one day and I was doing some neck bridges and I did like a headstand on my neck right as Bryan Danielson was showing up. And I just remember him yelling, "Look at that neck. Oh my God, what a strong neck that kid's got," in front of everybody, which was just hilarious the way he said it and with so much enthusiasm. It was hilarious. He's also obsessed with pull-ups and asking people how many pull-ups they can do. And so like he's hilarious. So I think that's one thing I feel like people don't understand is just how funny they are in general, him and Regal both, but just geniuses, absolute geniuses. They forgot more wrestling than I know. And so I just try to soak up as much info as possible from them. I remember we were sitting in like the viewing area one time and Andrade was wrestling in the ring and they had like a wide shot of his wide ass back. And like Danielson just turns to everyone's like, "Man, how many pull-ups do you think he can do?" It was just so random and out of nowhere. It's very funny. There's more, but they'll get me in trouble. I'm going to save them for a book later on in life.
The stories I would love to hear from those sessions could make a book itself.
Oh yeah.
What would the young you think is the coolest thing about the older you right now?
That's a really good question. I think younger me was blindly confident. Like I remember I hadn't even had my first match yet, and I was telling my trainers, like, in 5 years I'll be signed. I just know it. Like, I'll just be signed in 5 years. Like, with no clue how it was gonna happen. I was just so blindly confident in myself. And I think I've always kept a bit of that. Like, I've always known that I will work hard and find a way to succeed no matter what. But I'm trying to think, what would he be most impressed at? I mean, of course, me getting signed. But I think he'd be more proud of the man I am more so than the wrestler I am. I think you try to figure things out and you're kind of flying by the seat of your pants when you're younger and you feel like you know what life is all about. But I feel like in the past few years, you know, with the highest of highs and the lowest of lows I've went through, whether it be injury or getting signed or getting released, I feel like I now know. I feel like I've now experienced pretty much, besides a major death in my family, pretty much every type of major emotion you can feel when it comes to career or life-wise, and understanding how to compartmentalize it. And I think that's what I pride myself the most on. Just I'm very good at what I like. It's impossible for me to wake up on the wrong side of the bed. I'm just a almost hopelessly optimistic person. Always. I'm always about looking for the laugh and the good time and putting positive vibes out in the universe and being able to compartmentalize if does something go wrong or something does make me upset. Take that at this hour and understand why it made me upset and not taking it out on anyone else or any other situation and just focusing on the task at hand or the person that is in front of me. And I think that shows a level of maturity that a younger me would look up to and aspire to be. And I know that's not like a great wrestling answer, but I think that's the biggest thing that I think I've always felt that I was an old soul with a young spirit, if you can put it that way. And I've always prided myself on that. And I think until you mature and go through some life experiences, you don't truly know how much you can handle in life and how quick-witted and quick on your feet you can be when things go wrong. And I feel like I've experienced that enough now to know that I'm confident in any situation, that no matter what life throws at me, I will be able to conquer it.
Yeah, you've been through it enough to know then. You sound like, I'm 45. I've heard and seen some things. You sound like someone who's been battle tested and you know you're going to make it all right. Good for you. Also, when you say you're down or having rough times, man, picking up like you do, that takes effort. And that is not easy. And I can tell you a lot of people with depression and whatnot, that's a habit you need to learn and reinforce. And you have to do that over and over until you see something positive come out of it. So great job on you for doing that too, because there's a lot of people that struggle with that. And it really is an effort to try to stay positive. So kudos to you for that, for sure. I'll go with this one right here. Is there something about you or your character that you wish people knew better, or you would like to maybe set straight?
I think people don't know that I wrestled and trained a little bit in Mexico, which was why I, donned the mask. I am mostly Native American. I'm pretty much racially ambiguous. I got a lot of shit in me, but for the most part, I would say I'm like 95% Native American. And I'm very proud of that. But I fell in love with Lucha Libre and the culture of Lucha Libre and embraced it in such a way. And that's why I donned the mask. Some people just assume I'm Mexican, and I had promoters when I was younger like try to build me from Mexico when it was clear as day I'm not from Mexico. And so I had to try to embrace being me, but also try to explain why I wore the mask. And I think it's not as cut and dry as some people want to make wrestling characters out to be. And so, I almost had to carve out my own lane and explain myself in different ways. And, some people didn't like it or didn't respect it, but I feel like every luchador I've ever come in contact with or wrestled respects me and knows that I am don this mask out of love and respect and not out of anything else.
Have you ever put American Indian culture and wrestling together at all? Like, have you ever went to a reservation or maybe done anything before?
I have never done it with wrestling, and that is something I want to change in the future. It just depends on where my career takes me. But I'd be lying if I said that's not something I've thought about, because I definitely have. I danced in powwows growing up. I donned regalias, and my mom made beadwork, and I traveled across the country doing competitions and dances, and I speak a little bit of Choctaw.
Really?
Yeah, it's just something, when I don the mask and keep my personal life and professional life separate, I have made a conscious decision to hide some of that. And like slowly but surely, the older I get, the more confident in myself, and the more I feel that I want to represent my tribe and culture. And so it's slowly but surely, I think more people will learn about, my me integrating that into future character stuff for sure.
It truly is, over the generations slowly dying. So anything that you could possibly do, I think, would be extremely important to the people before you and to people after you. So personal opinion. All right. We've gotten through more of the, inward reflective. Looks like B might have a question before we get out of that and go into the fun stuff.
I got one more, just because it could be possibly the last time we see a mask. Is there any special?
He got muted because of that blasphemy that he just spouted out of his mouth. It will not be the last time that you see this fucking mask.
He knew it. Yep.
I was gonna say, is there any special mask we could possibly see on Sunday at least?
I don't know. I feel like, I like the design of my mask, and like it would take something very dynamic and special to make me change it up or switch it up. I think it's more about the way I wrestle and the character I exude more than it is the gear I'm wearing. But I know people love dope looking gear, and it adds to the overall aesthetic and theme and mood of the tone of the match sometimes. And so it just depends on what it would be. I know Atticus Cogar loves to have weird ass looking gear, and do special things for special matches. So I wouldn't be shocked if he does something wild. I definitely think I'll have a new set of gear for Vegas. I just don't know what I want it to be yet. I've told my maker that it's going to be a last minute decision. So I'll pay whatever extra rush shipping costs, because I've been thinking on it very deeply and I don't know what I want to do yet. Oh, John, you're muted.
Yeah, now you're muted. Ha.
Professionalism abounds around here. Have you had the same gear person now for quite a while? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, do they know you pretty good, or have you kind of jumped around here and there?
I've jumped around here. I feel like, there's just the old three-way Venn diagram. You can have, good
and
good and cheap, or you can get cheap and fast, and but you can never get fast and good. You can have cheap and good and cheap and fast, but you can never get fast and good. So you usually have to fork out a lot of money and wait a lot of bit. So it's like, I got one guy in Texas that makes shit very fast, and it doesn't look bad on camera. There's just it is not made well with the right type of fabrics, and it just slowly but surely falls apart or just like fades really fast. But he's the only one that is close to me that makes masks that fit properly for me. I got a guy that I really liked his gear a ton, and it lasts tremendously long, and he was making gear for me, and I would just get the mask made by the guy in Dallas, and this guy was making new gear for me. And then he got signed to AEW, which I helped do, but that he got signed to make gear for AEW, and now I can't get a hold of him because he's making so much gear for AEW. So it's like the half red, half gold mask with that set of gear, it's lasted me like 4 years just because it's such good high quality, because he made it. Same thing with the tag gear that I wear with Stackhouse, which is mostly all black, but has a little bit of gold and red in it as well. He made that one as well. So those two are usually, I cycle gear out about every 6 to 8 months just because it doesn't last or it gets faded or threads are coming loose all over it and it's a hassle. So I can get fast and cheap gear made pretty quickly. It just doesn't last as long as I would like it to. But cheap and fast I'll take over good quality as long as it passes. I still look better than half the people look on most rosters.
Yes.
But I am a stickler about having good quality stuff sometimes.
Hey man, good gear matters, bright colors matter, deep colors matter. It's really interesting, but that's true. I'm saying deep because I'm looking at that red up against that gold up there on your mask.
Yes.
Yeah, deep colors really kind of stand out. Even when you have TVs that sometimes don't always pull the colors as well out of your gear and can sometimes wash out.
Yeah, some of these production people got to learn their white balance and up this saturation a little bit so my gear can pop the way I want it to.
I'm telling you. You heard it here, Ash. You got to get on it, buddy.
Ash does a good job, but I still feel like we can get a little bit more saturation in some of these some of these GCW shows.
There you go. We talk about it here all the time too, and I know Ash usually has a chance to listen. He will. So if he heard it, that's the place to do it right here. Okay, fun time, Fuego. Take it easy. These can even be quick if you want to. It's up to you.
I'm a long-winded person, as you can tell tonight, so I'll do my best to keep it concise.
I only do that because I know we're an hour and a half in, and I don't want to keep you all night. So
I didn't even realize we were that deep in. I've been having a good time. I haven't looked at the clock.
I love that. Do you have any pets over there?
Oh God, I didn't realize you were trying to make me turn heel. So tonight of all nights was the night that after 11-year babyface run, you're gonna make me turn heel. I don't like pets. I just don't. Yeah. I grew up with outside pets. We'd have a dog in a dog house chained up back in the backyard. Yeah. And that was the time to go outside and get nasty. Dog hair, it is a pet peeve of mine. That's funny that I use that phrasing. I just cannot stand dog hair. And there's hairless dogs, but there's a smell and just an overall uncleanly, thing with animals. And as much as people love them, I understand it. I have 3 daughters. I don't have to clean up their shit after a certain number of years, if that makes sense, right? Eventually they'll grow old enough to clean up my shit. I think if I was ever gonna have pets, I'd get a horse stable. I do enjoy horses. I like horses, and they provide more of a use. I feel like growing up, I did have some dogs that you have all this love for them and then they die, and it is the saddest shit in the world. And I don't like that experience ever, and I don't wish it on anyone. I feel like sometimes I'm also a frugal, cheap bastard, and dog food and shots and all of this stuff is money I'd rather be spending on my children or myself than on a pet animal. I know it makes me a shitty person. I don't hate other people that have pets. I go over and watch pay-per-views sometimes at a friend's house who's got some dogs and cats, and he's always like, I know you don't like animals. I didn't say I didn't like them. I will pet them. I will enjoy them. I don't like dog hair or like rubbing all over me. I'm a clean freak. I think more than anything, I'm a little OCD when it comes to pet and animal hair and stuff like that. So yeah.
It's a mindset. I know what you're talking about. It's a mindset, and your mindset is exactly this. And other people have mindsets where they accept that we will live with animals. So I know what you're saying. I actually didn't live with an animal until I came out and got with my wife and whatnot, because before that, I kind of was around your same thought pattern. Now I'm fucking covered in hair.
It's so funny. My father, growing up, despised having indoor animals. He refused to let it happen. I think I get a little bit from him. And now he's got with another wife in his older age, and they have like multiple inside dogs. And I was like, who are you? This is not the man I grew up with that instilled all this in me, and now has, completely rebutted into whatever this man is now.
You've heard it before. New woman, new man.
True that. That's never true words never been spoken, I don't think.
All right. Do you have a favorite sports team or a favorite sport?
The University of Alabama, the Crimson Tide. I'm gonna say roll tide to that, right? I grew up in a state where we don't have any pro teams, so But the one team, the one college that's basically ran like a professional organization is the Alabama Crimson Tide. And I've grew up watching so many games and going to Tuscaloosa and being a part of that atmosphere. And I love it so very much. So first and foremost, I'm rooting for that college tremendously. I got to go be a part of the college for this summer camp thing I did one year. That was awesome. That I was invited to for my brains. Actually, it was crazy. I know. I got invited to that and got to spend a week on campus, and it was awesome. And my dad's a lifelong Alabama fan as well. So whether it be softball, baseball, basketball, football, I am just all in on the Alabama Crimson Tide more than anything else. I do dabble in other sports, but college sports is the thing I look forward to the most. As I've gotten older, it's really just been wrestling in Alabama. But I'm only 2 hours. I grew up 2 hours away from New Orleans, so I really enjoyed the Saints growing up a lot. When Drew Brees left, it kind of broke my heart, and so I don't know if I'm as big as a Saints fan anymore, especially because I've lived in Oklahoma for so many years. So I do have a little bit of love for the Thunder in OKC. But for the most part, it's mostly just all Alabama, I think, more than anything else.
Any thoughts on Roll Tide Willie?
I think I have uncles that are a lot like him, right? I feel like a lot of times you're a product of your environment. If you've never left or didn't pursue certain, I don't like that he's a representative of what Alabama is. He's one part of it, absolutely, but I am a highly educated young man who comes from that state, and I might have a little bit of twang in my voice, but I'm well educated and well read, and try to be well spoken at times, and so I want to represent the South in a way. I'm proud to be from the South. I'm proud to have the Southern hospitality and being as well mannered in things that I am, that was instilled into me by living in the South. I understand that it's funny and humor comes first, and I'm glad that he can make money being Roll Tide Willie, because it's truly as genuine as he comes. I don't like that people might take advantage of that, but I do find it funny. And like me and Gabe Kidd connected because he found out I was from Alabama, and we just yelled constantly at each other, don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide. So if that connected me with Gabe Kidd, it's a good thing. So shout out to Roll Tide Willie for that, because I don't give a piss about nothing but the Tide.
Muted again, John. I'll go to another fan question here. Ishmael asks, have you received any fan mail yet?
I know Ish has sent me a pop figure to my P.O. box, and I haven't looked at it yet, because here's the deal, right? I'd mentioned that I'm a frugal bastard, okay? So last April, a year ago, there was a tornado that came through my town that destroyed my post office. So I had to go to a town that's only like 5 minutes over, if that. It's very close. That we had to go to their post office, and so they gave me like a new P.O. box over there. And just recently, they reopened the post office in my town, and since they were moving things over, they have not charged me for the couple months that I have not paid my post office fee. And I'm scared that if I go look at this mail, that they're going to charge me, and I just don't want to pay this money right now. So I haven't went to look for this fan mail. That's how frugal I am right now, because I don't know if they're going to make me pay for the back months that it's been in use that I haven't paid, or if they're just going to make me pay for this month. And so I'm not trying to re-up it right now, because I got other things I need to worry about. And first and foremost, Vegas and Mania weekend that I got to pay for first.
Okay, so we were just now talking about things in the mail. This is a great time to ask you, looking around the back of your room there, do you collect anything?
Yes and no. I don't necessarily collect pop figures. I feel like I bought a couple, and then fans just started sending me pops. And so that's been really cool. And so I guess I collect Golden Girl pop figures, because I'm a giant Golden Girls fan. I collect Game of Thrones pop figures, because I'm a giant Game of Thrones fan. I collect Avatar, The Last Airbender pop figures, because I'm just a big fan of that as well. And then some Marvel back there as well. I also got a couple Alexander Hamilton pop figures. And then, of course, wrestlers as well.
I'm a big fan of the musical Hamilton. I think it's one of the top 5 pieces of media ever put out. I just think it's that creative. So yeah, I got a little bit of everything, but again, a lot of this was fan sent to me. I've only bought maybe like 8 or 9 pops ever. And then it's just a bunch of like special fan made things. Like I have a couple of like yarn figures that someone made, or like custom wrestling figures that people made. I have someone who painted a rock into my mask. Like I painted my mask into this cool rocks, this stone that's back there on the wall. Yeah, I don't know. I don't necessarily look to collect things because like I said, I'm a frugal bastard. But people do send me things that add to my collection.
So
I just
then
have kids, and I put my kids first. She keeps saying that I'm frugal when it comes to selfish things. Is what unless it's wrestling gear, I really don't spend money on myself. I really spend all my money on my kids. That's what I'm trying to say when I say I'm frugal.
Hey, that's a good way to put it.
Yes.
All right then. So this is the show and tell part. Do you have anything nearby you'd like to hold in front of the camera and show us that you're proud of?
I got a bunch of stuff. I mean,
oh, that's what's up. Here we go. This is the fun part.
I got a couple of these bad boys that were, knitted, hand knit. I don't know how you say this. What is it? Crocheted?
Yeah, those crochet.
Yeah, those are really cool. I got like my top 7 pop figures right here hanging up. And I know it's a little hard to see, but I got Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio up at the top. Those 2. Then I have Alexander Hamilton and Rose from Golden Girls here. Then I have Aang from Avatar here, as well as Cody Rhodes next to him, because Cody's been such a big mentor in my career. And then I have the mascot for Alabama, Big Al, sitting right here. One of these was replaced Jon Snow, because I was like, man, I can only have 7 here as the top 7. So Jon Snow would be here, but he's back on the wall back there. I also have that dope sign. So when I was still working as an extra, someone brought a petition for Fuego del Sol to be all elite, and all these people in Jacksonville signed it while waiting in line, all coming around. And then at the end of the night, they gave it to me. So I got it framed. So not only are their signatures all over the front, their signatures all over the back. And as I brought the sign backstage, a couple pro wrestlers signed it too. And that was just like a stamp of approval of like people that were already signed supporting me. Oh man. So it's like, it's more of like, I don't, maybe if I never would have got signed to AEW, I still would have had that, just because it was just a totem of just like respect that I earned from fans that I just really appreciate.
Reed Harris Cooper asks, do you have the Golden Girls Funko game?
I didn't even know there was a Golden Girls Funko game. I have a Golden Girls backpack hanging up on the wall over there for sure.
Is that the Loungefly backpack?
Say again?
Is that the Loungefly backpack, the Golden Girls one? It's like a kind of half the size of a regular backpack, like a mini?
No, it's not a mini. It is more of a full-size one. It is next to, so I'll show you these as well. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, man, dude, we got time. Let's roll.
Of course.
Yeah, there's a Loungefly that's made of Golden Girls. I shouldn't know this, but my wife is way into Golden Girls. So guess who also is?
I have
sick. No, I've never seen that
backpack, which is Golden Girls. And it's got all their faces all over it. And like, talk about gets me love on a flight. You don't know how many flight attendants have shown me extra love when people see this in the airport. So, I like to have just random conversation starters, and this is one of them. And then I also have a Avatar backpack, which is Appa and Momo on the front, right? And it's furry, but it's also reversible, and then has all of the different symbols of the nations on the other side. So I can reverse it in and out. And so I like to have just random backpacks and conversation starters while I'm traveling as much as I do.
And for anybody who's really watched the show a lot, I thought it was cool that with the Golden Girls thing, it had all those ferns, the green ferns like that.
Oh, yes.
So, if you ever get to LA, it's not far from Hollywood. You can go to the Golden Girls house where they did the
That's awesome.
shots and shit. It's actually really cool because the owner made all kinds of efforts to make the house to keep the house originally like it was when it was shot. It's not the set, but it's the house. So of course. All right then. So we got through show and tell. What is your favorite fast food when you're on the road, and what you ordering?
Oh man, So I'm a sucker for sausage McGriddles. So if it's breakfast time, I need a couple sausage McGriddles, maybe a couple burritos just to get my protein in. But I'm a sucker for that syrup and that bread, man. I don't know what it is. Also, I don't think anything in this world beats a cinnamon roll from Whataburger. If you don't know about Whataburger cinnamon rolls, you're fucking up. I just want y'all to know that right now. Let me put you on game real quick. Go to Whataburger and order a cinnamon roll. Maybe the greatest cinnamon roll you'll ever have in your life. Fuck Cinnabon, fuck anywhere else. I'm letting you know right now that's why In-N-Out can't beat Whataburger, because they don't got fucking cinnamon rolls. They also at In-N-Out don't put barbecue sauce on hamburgers, which is fucking bullshit, because I'm a barbecue sauce connoisseur and I need barbecue sauce on my burgers. So that's why I choose Whataburger over that. What else do I love? I love a Sonic breakfast burrito as well, man. Again, I'm huge on trying to get protein in where I can, as well as a little bit of just good breakfast food. I'm a sucker. And then like celebratory Waffle House after a show is like the best. So me and Sam look for Waffle House. And then in certain parts of the countries, when it's bow time, it's bow time. Bojangles fucking slaps. Big Bojangles fan. Me and Sam have hit up Bojangles after shows a bunch too. So Waffle House, Bojangles, Whataburger, McDonald's. Those are most the go-to ones. I'm a cheap bastard, like I said multiple times.
Your favorite family recipe? Is there a family food you got that just can't be beat?
Let's see here. I am just a giant seafood fan, and so we make some protein pasta with sausage and shrimp cut up inside of it, and so it's just the right amount of Cajun seasoning, and it helps me get the carbs and macros and things I need and protein I need. So we'll get some some penne protein noodles and some shrimp and some sausage, most time turkey sausage, and we'll cut it up and we'll eat that. I ate it on stream a couple times before when I'm on Twitch, so it's very funny people see it. But yeah, we eat that at least once a week, so it's always. And I'll jump on leftovers for days at a time. So I love it.
Sam Stackhouse said it's bow time, baby.
It's bow time indeed, my guy Sam. He knows. We're jealous when we eat it without each other. We'll send each other the pictures of us eating it, bow, and we'll both be like, "Fuck you," and I'll be like, "No, fuck you." But when it's together, one time we drove, because we're stupid idiots. We drive way too much. We should be flying shows. But sometimes we drive. We drove to WrestleCade a couple years ago in Charlotte, and I think we ate it twice in one day. We ate it for both lunch and dinner as we were driving back to Oklahoma, because it was that damn good, and we don't get to have it often.
You guys are trading pictures of your jangles.
Yes.
Doesn't sound good. Okay. We're going down to Lil Fuego time. What was the video game you dominated when you were a kid?
Oh, so I grew up with two younger brothers, right? And so we were a sports game family. So we play a lot of Madden, a lot of 2K, a lot of wrestling games. And I was always good at wrestling games. Like nobody could touch me on some Day of Reckoning on GameCube. You're not fucking touching me. What else? What I feel like I just thrived at. Say again?
I was just saying Day of Reckoning. I was like,
yes,
that was
I know. It's a random one. It doesn't get the love it deserves, but if you were a GameCube era kid like me, you know how much that game slaps. WrestleMania 21 was a good one that I loved as well. It had a hilarious story where you basically seduce both Lita and Trish before one of them turns on you. And it's like, what you could definitely not make that game today, but I just remember being a fucking, 11-year-old kid being like, this is the coolest thing ever. I'm dating both Lita and Trish. It was just so stupid. So I'm trying to think of non-wrestling games, right? I loved Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2. It was a phenomenal game, but I'm trying to think of like game that I could win at any moment. Oh, UFC 3 maybe. I would just smack fools on that. Really good at that.
I was ranked top 75 in that one for a little bit.
Really?
That one had many hours of my life.
Oh yeah, were you a ground game specialist or no?
Yeah.
I would tap
I was one of those
motherfuckers out.
ones that used to get like the little things that was just shine the thing.
Yes, yes, yes. That's hilarious.
Uh,
That's hilarious. I'm trying to
Okay,
think. Maybe it was UFC 2. I don't know. I'm trying to think which, because like it might have been UFC 2. I'm tripping out. I can't remember. I don't play a lot of video games anymore. If I do play video games nowadays, it's usually because I want to play co-op with my friends or online with my friends. It's more of a bonding time with the boys than it is like me just sitting down. I think because I grew up in a household with brothers, we always had to play co-op games. So I never really got a chance unless it was like a WWE universe mode or something like that, where I would just play a story all the way through just because my brothers would always want to play with me.
What? Oh, you know what?
I
I'll
think we got
ask you
some breaking news here. Hold on. I
Oh,
think we have
hold
some
on.
breaking news to that answer you gave us here, Fuego. Nacho Man, Randy Sausage with the breaking news. Fuego don't dominate no video game. Stackhouse be beating him so bad. Fuego's tweet that Fuego ends the stream with no warning.
I just want people to know that Sam Stackhouse begs me every single day to play him in EAFC 25, which is FIFA for those that don't know. And he's asking you now when is he gonna let me get my cup? So what you do, if you win 3 games in a series, you win a cup. And I have won about 19 in a row. 19 cups in a row. Doesn't mean he doesn't sometimes tie or beat me. But for the most part, he can't win a cup to save his fucking life. Now, last night, I was doing some business on my phone while I was also playing the game. Is it an excuse? Yes, but it's valid. And he beat me one of the games, and maybe 2 of the games, and we tied once. So he is 1 game away from winning his first cup in about, I don't know, months at least. It's got to be months. And so he's begging to do this. It no longer does good numbers on Twitch when I stream FIFA against Sam because I beat him so mercilessly every single time that people don't want to watch it anymore. So I don't play FIFA on stream because it doesn't do good numbers. It's not fun for other people to watch me beat the shit and talk shit on my best friend. And I understand why. But Nacho Man Randy Sausage, who is a giant, big fan of my Twitch streams, and he loves to now root against me in everything I do. It's very funny. And he's a habitual liar when it comes to putting me down about video games. So I would never trust Nacho Man Randy Sausage on anything, actually, ever. Like he also hates Alan Angels, who's another good friend of mine, just for being bald and thinking bacon is overrated. And I get it. Those are 2 bad qualities, but he's got a lot of good ones. See, there we go. But Lou is a top fan as much as he likes to hate. So I'll let it slide. But Sam Stackhouse will tell you, ask Sam when's the last time he won a cup, and he won't be able to give you a real solid answer because he can't remember because I've been beating his ass on such a constant basis.
And see, just like that, the whole interview changed. We found out Mr. Sausage is suspect as fuck. He's going heel.
Yes.
All right, Fuego, what music were you listening to as a young one?
See, that's another thing I'm very proud of is that my family listened to everything. Like you can't put on any genre that I want, just ball out to. I am a dancing fool at heart. I will dance to anything. I got no shame when it comes to dance moves. So country, pop, rap, metal, old school rhythm and blues. Like I was listening to some Al Green earlier. Like there's I got it all. I love it all. I can pretty much sing anything. So people would be shocked at how diverse mine and Sam Stackhouse's music taste are on long road trips. We had a guy ride with us the other day who was, because we went from I'm trying to think exactly what it was. We were rapping 50 Cent, and then we switched to Morgan Wallen, and then it was Chapel Roan, back to back. We were singing Sabrina Carpenter's "Please, Please, Please Don't Prove," and he was just what is going on right now? That we're just blasting Pink Pony Club in the fucking car and singing it. So I am very proud of how diverse my music tastes are and how much I like so many different genres and things. And so I understand people have their niches and stick to that, but I'm all over the place with it.
All right, then. What was your favorite cereal?
So for the longest time, it was Apple Jacks. I was just a giant. Well, I should go. There's phases, right? When I was very little, it was Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch berries. Of course, you got to have the berries in there as well. It was Captain Crunch berries. But I got a little older and I was a big Apple Jacks guy. And then I realized I was just addicted to cinnamon of the Apple Jacks. And no, when you're addicted to cinnamon, there's only one place to go. That's the CT Crunch. And so CT Crunch is the go-to. But because I've been so focused on my diet and gaining weight, I've only had about like 3 or 4 bowls of cereal in like 5 years, to be honest with you.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. And I've tried to eat different protein cereals and it just didn't do it for me. You know, I'll go visit my father or something, and the only snacks he's got in the house is some Cinnamon Toast Crunch, and I'll jump in that. But like, I think breakfast is the most important meal of the day, and so I need to get some high protein in. So a lot of it consists of eggs every morning, and I'm a routine guy, so I eat pretty much the same things, some eggs and some oatmeal almost every single day. And if I'm on the road, I'll grab some sort of like burrito that has a ton of eggs and sausage and protein in it for the most part.
What kind of cartoons were you watching? Were you a Nickelodeon kid, a Fox kid?
I was
PBS
definitely so when it comes to cartoons, it was Nickelodeon. I think I'm a huge Disney Channel kid as well. You know, like I said, I was born in 95. So like the prime of like between 2000 and 2010, like it was just nothing but me.
Yeah.
Like watching prime Disney Channel and cartoons, you know, like Wild Thornberry's Cat Dog as told by Junior Doug. There's so many ones like that come to mind. Rugrats, Rocket Power, of course. Like there's like the goats, of course. But then like a lot of I transitioned. I feel like I don't know if it was just because my family was such a sports family, but like my dad, or like it was just my dad. Like to be a man, you don't watch as many cartoons. So it was like we watched Disney Channel shows, which is like even cringier. I feel like at least cartoons have more fun. But like I would switch to just Disney Channel watching like live action, like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, and like Lizzie McGuire, That's So Raven, and like Phil of the Future and things of that nature on up. So like that was my, like a lot of people watched Cartoon Network, and I just was never a Cartoon Network kid. And so I don't have the same reference points that a lot of these people, besides maybe like a Ed, Edd and Eddy, you know, but I really just didn't watch a lot of Cartoon Network or Boomerang or things of that nature. It was a lot of Nickelodeon for the most part, and then Disney Channel.
So then this lines up with the last childhood question. Who was your celebrity crush?
Topanga Lawrence. Topanga fucking Lawrence.
We got a lot of those, man.
Come on.
Seen how many? You know what I mean?
I think not only that, it is like it makes me more attractive to the girl next door than the hot girl. I think more than anything else. I think I've always been more attracted to a girl next door vibe than I am like the fucking supermodels. That's definitely one of them. I didn't even understand because I was so young, but I had the VHS tape of Grease and Olivia Newton-John in that black leather. Tell me about it, stud. I didn't know what shape up meant, but I knew I needed to shape up. I just want to let you know right now that Sandy could get it even before I knew why it was doing something to me. It was doing something to me. I just want you to know that. Grease, one of my top 5 movies, I think, ever. I'm such a big fan of Grease. So yeah, definitely that's up there. Pink Ranger, come on now. Kimberly, of course, is up there.
He's hitting all the popular ones right now.
Of course, but like I was born in 95, so it's a lot of this. I'm like, a lot of these shows came out, and then it was reruns of these shows where I got all of this, right? So because you know, I had this time and moved on. But then like Ashley Tisdale, you know, Vanessa Hudgens, High School Musical, both of those up there for sure. I don't know. Yeah, definitely Topanga Lawrence first and foremost, without a doubt.
So then what's the worst shoot job you've ever had?
You know, I got really lucky. So with KBW, I started getting paid by YouTube at 17 years old. And so I was able to not have to get a real job for like 6 years. Now, when I moved away and moved to Oklahoma, the YouTube money slowly started going down because we weren't putting out videos as often, you know? And so like I was making like $2,000 a month at like 17. And so slowly but surely the money dwindled to like $1,500 and then $1,200 and then $700. And then I would only be making like $200. And then like the adpocalypse hit where they demonetized a ton of things. Like I forget when it was, but maybe like 2016, 2017. And so I stopped making hardly any money from my old backyard wrestling videos. And so I was about to have my first child, and I went and did some seasonal work at a Best Buy distribution center, just warehouse work where you're just packaging stuff up and like being on your feet for fucking 8, 9, 10, 11 hours. And that sucked more than that. And I finally left that job and I worked as a manager at a trampoline park for 4 years until I got signed to AEW. So I really only had 2 real jobs before wrestling became my full-time job. So I'm very lucky in that point. So I would say out of the 2, the thing I didn't like was the distribution center. And the thing I really liked was the manager of the trampoline park.
Yeah, the trampoline let you train if you wanted to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people have like high school jobs and things, but I played sports. I played both football and soccer. And like as long as I was playing sports, my dad made sure that we were taken care of. He made sure we had things, money to go and do. He's like, you have good grades and do good and play sports. And he'll take care of everything else. And then I got lucky and started making money on my own in high school with YouTube. And so, things kind of worked out.
All right. I only have a couple questions here for you left, Fuego. We put you through the meat grinder pretty good and you've done well here. What was the craziest thing you've had a fan do to get your attention?
Ooh.
Uh-oh. If it hit the barrier, you don't have to mention it.
Sammy's vlog crew, which is a girl named Jess in the chat. She's got a vlog crew tattoo and a Fuego tattoo. And that's pretty fucking insane. The Fuego tattoo is like a specific like logo that I had. So like, it's just a cool flame. And so it doesn't necessarily, it's not like my face or anything. But like, that's pretty wild. But you got to respect it. If someone is a fan of you that much, you got to respect it. So that's probably up there for sure. I'm trying to think.
That All Elite thing you were talking about back there, that's really
that's incredible. That's incredible. But I feel like that's more fan love. I feel like love is different than going out of their way to do weird things. You know what I'm saying? So it's like people driving hella far to see me at shows is awesome. Like people saying they drove 4, 5, 6 hours just to see me wrestle. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I love that. I am so thankful. Like I feel like it's weird because I have a weird philosophy about stan culture. I don't think anybody should stan anything. I don't mind being a fan of something and a diehard fan of something. To be a stan, to defend it even in the worst of times is not something you should do. So I try to avoid people standing me, but also as a person trying to make money doing this, it's good to have loyal fans. So it's weird. I have a weird relationship with how I view stan culture, to be honest. But yeah, tattoos is wildest. And I don't have any tattoos. I don't know if I'll ever get any. So that mindset is crazy to go get me something I done or one of my logos tattooed on them is wild.
Me neither. I think it's just my dad when I was young. He's like, nope. And I think it just stuck with me kind of thing. Same with cartoons. Like you were saying, cartoons. My dad's like, dude, you're 12 years old. No more cartoons. Like that was the old school style,
My dad was a manly type man. And so it was definitely that. And then I grew up in like a really religious family. And so at least on my mom's side, my dad's side, like I said, he's more manly, but my mom, I grew up very religious. And so I'm not religious now. And I don't think it has anything to do with religion of why I don't have tattoos. I don't think it's necessary. If I like something that much, I'll put it on a t-shirt. That's how I feel.
This kind of goes into this part then with the religion. Do you have any ghost stories or spooky stories that have happened to you over your life you'd like to share?
Not ghost or spooky, but I do have something very scary. We had a home invasion happen while I was at work, and my pregnant wife had a drug addict jump through our window, like literally jump through the window and then cut himself on the window and running down the hall of my house. And luckily my father-in-law didn't live too far away, and he had to hold the man at gunpoint until the police got there. But it was like tremendously traumatizing. We had to move out of that house just because of how much damage it did. But no, I don't know if I don't know. I definitely believe that there is a realm between here and whatever's after here, but I've never encountered it. I think that's the best way to put it. I believe that because I'm religious, I do believe there's some sort of ghost or like spirit that has to travel somewhere, but I've never had an encounter with it. No. I think they're more worried. I think there's no such thing as haunting something. I think maybe they're confused spirits or not truly knowing what's going on or where how to get to the next spot.
Yeah.
Yes, but I don't think anyone is haunting anyone. No.
Mm. Okay, so on to my last little section here. I'm going to hold one question back, but I do want to ask this one before we finish up. Is we have quite a few people in here, no lie.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
What are we at right now, B? You got me 550 right now. All right, not
Hell
bad.
yeah.
Not bad. Well, with the 550 live that are here right now, a lot of these are fans of Fuego. So I wanted to kind of step back off the microphone for a second and give you a minute or two to just talk to your fans. If there's anything you ever wanted to say or give thanks for, I just wanted to give you this time right now. The floor is all yours, sir.
For the people that, actively support me and do their best to keep up with the things I'm doing. I know, wrestlers are self-absorbed in a way and think that everything they're doing at the moment is the most important thing in the world. And I understand that in a way because, if you're obsessed with success, then you can get inflated and trapped in your own bubble of what's going on. And I understand everyone has their own lives and hardships and things that they're going through. And so if you take time out of your day, or if I've been able to brighten your day with things I've done through wrestling, I very much appreciate you. I've been going through some stuff and I'm trying not to get into it or trying to make, I don't want to make this a sob story. I just want to let people know that wrestling is my solace. Wrestling is a way for me to escape. Wrestling is something I can focus on that I feel like is very productive in my life. And sometimes when I'm going through rough situations, wrestling is what I turn to. So if you turn to me or enjoy me, I appreciate that. I feel like the next couple of weeks of my career is so pivotal and so vital to what I feel like my future is going to look like, not only in wrestling, but in life, that I just am so incredibly grateful and thankful for the people that have tuned in and that have enjoyed what I do. I try never, people say I do it for the fans, but I'm lying. I'm selfish. The feeling I get from pro wrestling is solely because I enjoy it so much. And if you get enjoyment because I get enjoyment from it, that's just icing on the cake. I can't expect people to support you forever. I can't expect people to keep up with everything you do. But I just want you to know that I have been obsessed with professional wrestling at the level I'm doing it at for 11 years. And that it means so much to me. And I try to exude that through everything I do in pro wrestling. And I want people to feel what I feel and, have and see the passion that I do everything with. I hope it, touches someone or someone can, be inspired by the passion I have for pro wrestling and the love I have for pro wrestling. I hope it inspires you to do something you love on the other end. Thank you is not big enough of a word to say to how I feel and to convey the messages I really would like to convey. I always feel like I wrestle with my heart on my sleeve, and I feel like it's very noticeable for most people that pay attention. And for those that don't, I just, I appreciate you for trying to let them know. So many people have been riding with me when, if you're a casual fan that don't pay attention, could say, oh, he's nothing. He's a nobody. He's a loser. He got signed because of this person or that thing. But I feel like for the people that have paid attention, there's something with my story that you connect to and can see and enjoy. And I appreciate that more than you know. Without going into too much, the next 2 weeks are so extremely vital. Please support me through WrestleMania weekend and the collective, and Joey Janela spring break is so vitally important to me. I worked my ass off to get to this spot. I said it in a tweet a couple of days ago that I worked at security during Joey Janela spring break 2 in New Orleans. Just watching that show and knowing that I needed to get to a spot like that is so incredibly important that I've earned my way onto that show in a couple weeks, and regardless of who my opponent is, or if I think he deserves to be in the ring with me, I'm going to leave my heart and soul in that ring. I'm going to do my damnedest to steal the whole goddamn weekend. So if you've enjoyed the ride, thank you. And I hope that you ride on it with me for the rest of my career. Appreciate you.
Well said. Thank you so much, Fuego, for that. Were there any wrestlers that you'd like to shout out while you had the time?
I mean, there are people that have, supported me or inspired me or, pushed me. So guys like, guys personal to me that have like went out of their way to help me, like Lance Archer or Brian Cage, or the vlog crew, meaning Sammy Guevara, Marco Stunt, Alan Angels, Griff Garrison, people like that. I would absolutely shout out. There was a guy who helped me financially when I was a young wrestler and experienced a real big setback in my career, named Craig Kiesman, who also wrestles under the name Niles Planque. And I will shout him out every chance I get because he helped push me and help me in a time of need that was so vital to my life that I have to shout him out. Guys that were always good to me when they didn't have to be. Bryan Danielson, CM Punk, the Young Bucks, guys like that. I will, always sing their praises anytime I get a chance. And then Sam Stackhouse is a fucking phenomenal pro wrestler, and I want more people to follow him and see his awesome work. So please go follow Sam Stackhouse. Let's get this dude past 10K on all of his socials. That would really mean a lot to me if you go follow Sam Stackhouse.
And I'm right there the same way, man. We're huge fans of Sam, and anytime we have a chance, we try to get him on here just to have him have a couple minutes to just show who he is, because I mean, professionally and personally, he just shines. I don't know if he knows it, but the fans see it 100% for sure.
Yeah, I just want him to succeed. And like, that's why I push him so hard. I push him so incredibly hard. I just want him to be the best version of himself so he can do this and make as much money as this for a long time.
Oh. And we want to see you do the same, sir. You've given us one hell of a quality interview tonight. And we said, what, like an hour 15 hour, and we're 2 hours plus in. So time goes quick with you. I'm dead serious. Thank you so much. We do want to get you back on here again. I purposely jumped over quite a few things because the GCW talk was just so engrossing and you have a great storyline going that I didn't want to kind of jump over that too much.
I think it was a great time. I enjoy what y'all do every week. I'm glad that y'all put a focus on GCW. I feel like, it does embody the spirit of what ECW was back in the day. And I'm so thankful to have a place invest in me. And they have. And so I just want to return that investment and want to put it up on a pedestal and shout it from the rooftops that everybody should go watch GCW. So I appreciate you guys constantly putting such a focus on it.
We do our best, man. We're amateurs. You know what I mean? just trying. B, is there anything else you wanted to say here with Fuego?
No, just thank you again so much for your time. And yeah, can't really wait to see what's going to happen at Joey Janela Spring Break. You and Atticus have definitely turned something into I was gonna say earlier, this thing just kind of skyrocketed and just like shot to the moon, and it got intense real fast. And you guys have definitely brought a lot of eyes to this program, and I'm excited to see how it plays out. And wish you the best of luck, sir. And I can't wait to see you at in Vegas.
Thank you so much. I can't wait.
Best to you, sir. All right, Fuego, have a good one, man. We'll be seeing you. Yeah, we'll be seeing you in Vegas. Give you a nice handshake and a hug then. Is that good?
Yeah, let's grab a picture for sure.
Oh, you know that's coming.
Man.
We usually go off air and say thank you there. I'll just say thank you now because we got the reviews that we're going to do directly after you. Bless you. Thank you so much for everything. We do hope that you were treated with respect and you felt that we treated you right.
Oh, absolutely. Y'all are great. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you,
Have
sir.
a good one, Fuego. You
See
be
you in
good,
Vegas,
bro.
man.
See you guys.
Okay.
All right. Oh, yeah, wasn't ready for that. He got me. He
I
got me fast. There we go.
I hope everyone enjoyed that. I really, really like that a lot.
Thank you, Clown. And yeah, don't go anywhere. We're gonna we're gonna try to shoot through these next 2 shows. We got to try to goal. We got a goal here in an hour, so we're gonna go through this kind of fast. And yeah, as kind of usual when we've had these multiple shows, and not to waste everyone's time. If there's obviously just matches that are just matches, we're gonna add what we can add. But this weekend definitely was a lot of storyline, so it's gonna be fun trying to keep all this stuff to talk about short and sweet for the next hour. But we are going to try. So. Here we go. GCW's No Compadre from Talia Hall in Chicago, Illinois.
All right. So we open the show. Fans are pounding the mat. They're loud. I already knew that we had a good crowd in less than 5 seconds. I'm not kidding. It really showed here. Talia Hall, like Chicago fucking showed up for this one. Dave Prazak's voice rings through the mic, and we have our golden voice back. I really love hearing it. It's like a familiar voice. If anybody watched baseball, you have like Vin Scully out of the Dodgers, LA Dodgers back in the day before he passed. Like it's just that familiar voice of hearing grandpa or hearing your dad on the radio. And you know, after all these years now, Prazak's dad.
I had
yes.
the same thing. It was nice to hear Prazak and Veda back on commentary, and I felt immediately they made a huge improvement to the commentary during the first match.
And before I forget, I didn't want to get too deep into it before we announced our first match. I just wanted to say there were a couple who had some questions here, like 2 or 3 that we just missed. We definitely did our best. Super sorry.
There's one I'm really mad. I just realized I left it on star. So yes.
Oh, sorry. Which one was this one?
Ask about their best Fuego and Stackhouse road story.
Oh yeah, that would have been. I'm so sorry,
guys. Whoever asked that, I failed you there.
There you go. B failed us.
I'll take the blame there. As I just was starting this review, I looked up and I saw 1 star. I'm like, no.
Oh, all right.
I will reach out to him on Twitter and we'll get that answered. All right, just going into the first match here.
Yes,
Jack Cartwheel versus Dante Leon.
You know, I wrote in this one here that familiar opponents usually make an entertaining performance, even better if it's between 2 high energy wrestlers. This was just one of those matches. I was laughing here, not laughing, but I was really enjoying the fact that the fans lost their mind over the Moodalock. And that's my kind of crowd. Also, that feel the wheel chant really had me going. Those chants rolled all night too. So again, big ups to Chicago. They really made that show, you know, they really pushed it over the edge and made it that A+ show that Brett was talking about on Twitter. What you think it'd be?
All right, so was that a Moodalock or a Cloverleaf? I could be wrong here. That's all. Like maybe I'm missing the move because there was a couple good moves. Like I enjoyed the submission holds that they put on. Like it's something that I wasn't really expecting in this match. As you said, I was expecting the more high flying, innovative stuff. But yeah, the crowd you said was hot. They were these 2 killed it. I also love them mentioning right away Jack's involvement in the WWID tournament at the Collective. I love the Feel the Wheel chant as well. Dante pulling out. I thought the Cloverleaf popped me as well as the fans, especially when he had to release the hold. I thought he gave like a nice little twist at the end as he released it to kind of put a little bit more emphasis to the ending of that hold. There's a nice little detail that I enjoyed seeing that from Dante, but I thought this was a great opener. Crowd was hot and yeah, high energy to start the night. I agreed with you on a lot of stuff there.
All right.
Our second match was Dark Sheik versus Brooke Havoc.
I was writing here that Brooke was starting shit by throwing her shit at Sheik, and fans were saying throw it back. Sheik eventually threw it back. I saw that there were a lot of Brooke chants in this one. Sheik hits the 5-knuckle shuffle, and we get a let's go Cena. Cena sucks dueling chant in the crowd. Again, the crowd is awesome. Our winner in this one was Dark Sheik. What are you thinking about this match?
Yeah, I had nice to see Sheik back. It was a nice match stylistically, and I thought a great preview of some talent and what to expect at Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Going into what we hear later in the night, I did not expect that, so we'll get to that part later. Next match was Isaiah Broner versus Sam Holloway. Haas versus Haas.
Okay, we already know what's going to happen here. I'm an instant fan of Sam. I'm a big fan of the size. I had Mike awesome vibes with him, especially with the shoulder tackle and the top rope splash. Also, he's from Akron, Ohio, which is about 20 minutes north of where I grew up, and I'm a big fan of that too. Akron is also where Abyss is from. So a lot of big guys come out of that area, including this guy right here. So yeah, big fan of some hometown people. Welcome back, Isaiah Broner. Last seen at GCW's Now and Forever on August 2nd, 2024. I'll just go straight to the winner here. Our winner was Isaiah Broner. And I just want to say again, Sam stuck out. I see Mike Awesome, and just that's my memories kicking in my head. Did you see anything similar?
Yeah, I didn't even put Mike Awesome until you said that. Yeah, his dive to the outside was the Mike Awesome right there. I just missed it. I enjoyed this. More Haas matches like this, please. Both of these men, bring them back, give them another match. The crowd was into it. I loved the amazing versatile moveset they did, and the Haas moments were cool Haas moments. And yeah, Isaiah Broner always has been shining in GCW. So anytime I get to see him, I'm always happy. But all the way, bring him back for sure.
Oh yeah, man. I'm there. I'm a big fan of this Haas fight. More of these, please. More Sam, especially. I mean, we've seen Broner quite a few times, but Sam, he's going to TV.
Out.
We might as well get him while we can on our library.
Yeah, I feel like I seen him somewhere. I just don't remember where, but he stood out too at that first time. I just don't remember the company. It definitely wasn't GCW, obviously. All right. Our next match was for the GCW Tag Team titles as the Garbage Daddies defend the belts against Bang and Matthews, Hot Commodity, and Violence is Forever.
Fans do not like Hot Commodity. Fans love Bangin' Matthews. All right, so let's get to what's important here. The Garbage Daddies movie, music hits, and Violence is Forever attack from behind, and the bell rang. Radrick was being attended to on stage. The action in ring took a back seat to the Garbage Daddies. This is a 10-minute match, but no kidding, I was more interested in what was going on up there on the stage. This is a fan favorite, so you know what I mean? It's like, how can you enjoy the 4th of July party when you have your cousin with a broken leg, sitting right there? So, I mean, everybody was more concerned about that, unfortunately. Of course, being the winner here as Violence is Forever, having a title change was huge, but again, it just overshadowed. I want to stop right there and send it back to you before I go any further on this match.
I thought it was an interesting way to start it. Cole getting pulled to the back really bummed me. And so, as you said, Alec Price too. Violence is Forever was in their A+ heel game, though, tonight. The crowd was eating them alive, but they were like really cheering them on once the Garbage Daddies was gone. I know it became a Bang and Matthews, but Violence is Forever, I think, won over the crowd by obviously the end of the match. And I thought the pop that they got for winning the tag belts was pretty surprising. I love seeing all the shocked faces, and that's something we've been asking for, was kind of a shock title run, and I was not expecting this one. Especially I saw Joey tweeted out a little head like teaser going into Joey Janela's spring break that there was going to be a ladder match, and I was like, oh, okay, that kind of ruined this, and especially the next night them having another one-on-one title match. I did not expect this, and to have it happen and something that we've been asking for, I thought was cool. But now the tag titles are back in Violence is Forever, and it seems like Cole is out and Garbage Daddies are out of the title picture. And we've kind of talked about the tag team scene in general in independent wrestling, and this kind of is a little wrinkle and going to be interesting to see what happens with the tag belts. I don't know. What is your thoughts on that?
Okay, so I have a ton of thoughts, and I want to kind of talk about this a little bit because I think the fans are kind of unclear what happened here, what happened there. Okay, so yeah, there was a huge injury here that had happened before this show. I don't want to peel back too much. It's just Cole got injured, and of course you have to go to the show, finish out the story. He didn't even tell me how he got injured. It's just like he said, very truthful in that video. It's his knee, ACL, meniscus. It's going to be 7 to 10 months. And again, I might be quoting him wrong on the amount of months, but online it can be as much as 6 to 12 months. But, if you're not a 60-year-old man who's out of shape, and you're Cole, who's a gentleman who's, not even 30 yet, and an athlete, I have a feeling that there's a chance that he could be back quicker than the average individual with the same issue in surgery. I just wanted to kind of clear that up just so people kind of know. Yeah, he was injured beforehand. We kind of knew about it. There we go. Thank you, B. Below will be the GoFundMe for Cole Radrick. If you have a chance, please go over there, check it out for a minute. I'm not going to lie. When he got injured this second time, I had realized how much fandom I have wrapped up at GCW within him also, because he's one of the first who really, I connected with on a professional level, and then eventually a little bit on a personal level. And this one hurt my feelings. We were trying to record History of GCW on Thursday night, and I just wasn't myself because I just found out my dude's not coming out here. Like, there was so much that, yeah. So my wife was upset about it a little bit and whatnot. So, I mean, this just injury and then a second injury back to back like that helped dude out, because I mean, none of us can go like more than a paycheck or two before shit really gets rough. And this guy's about to take on 7 to 10 months or so straight. And yeah, do what you can to keep the boy around, just like I'm sure any of us would try to help our community. But looking back, I want to say Violence is Forever did a good job. I am thankful that the tag titles are back in at least good hands. I'm destroyed over the situation, but in this situation, I would not have had a better tag team to put it in their hands. And so I sit here and complain about this or that, but here we are with a second, or actually, I think this is the third run with Violence is Forever. Is it the second? Okay, so it's the second run right here. I wish the boys the best in doing the best they can to carry this. I mean, bad things happen and they stepped right up. So kudos to Violence is Forever for stepping up and being willing to do the work there. But I'm going to ask you, what do you think happens now to Alec Price? I mean, we're looking at singles runs, but I mean, that's what's going to happen, you think?
I hope so. I mean, he was on a singles run before they kind of put him in this tag team, and going into the J Cup 2 years ago on the second one, I thought he had a lot of momentum going into that one as a singles competitor. And then, yeah, kind of went nowhere. So the tags with Cole, same thing with Cole. He had a lot of momentum and nothing was going on. So I thought it was really good them working together, and they turned that tag team, the Garbage Daddies, one night a meme into a GCW tag team titles, and one of the most beloved tag teams there is in GCW. And yeah, this was a brutal way, not the way I wanted any part of to see the Garbage Daddies lose the belt. I'm heartbroken for Cole, as you said. As we get talent on here, we talk to him and we talk to him afterwards, meet him at the shows. It is a big difference talking to him and getting to know them and having the injuries in here and everything. So yes, my heart went out for Cole, but then I went back to Alec Price. And I felt bad for him, and I really hope he doesn't get lost in the shuffle again. In my opinion, I don't think the time, like, this is a time right now he should be shining as a singles competitor. And I think the JCW title would be a perfect way to go about it, whether it be heel against Masha, whether it be as a face. I just think, yeah, there we go. Clown, you said what I was saying here. I would like Alec to be the one that at least go after Masha for a little bit, for a feud, and build up to it and make him earn it and make it make sense. Is what I just want something for Alec that makes sense. And he's so talented. And I think we were just talking a couple weeks ago. I think last week we brought up like the pillars, and Mason asked who I thought was some people I would be building around. And yeah, it's kind of, Alec Price is talented. So yeah, move into the scramble cage for the collective. I hope something happens to him, and that's what I would do with him.
Also, he's a great singles wrestler, so it's not like he's doing anything more than changing gears. You know what I mean?
You can go heel, face. Yeah, you can go either way with him.
So then a lot of people were asking, because we don't have the biggest tag division right now, but the Cogars are an option. But for me, I feel like it's premature. I feel like their run needs to mean something, and it deserves a proper setup and time to breathe before that championship.
I thought the way they ran through Stackhouse and Fuego and Phoenix, I thought that was I think I said it before. I hope they kind of do just go right through both of them, make a statement, and kind of make an impact to challenge the garbage daddies at the collective. So, Fuego made a comment of Atticus kind of their run is about to end. Yeah, I was going to make a comment here that you made. Fuego made a comment earlier saying how Atticus kind of fucked things up for Fuego as he could have gone after the JCW title, the GCW. He could like Atticus coming in mess that up. I also think maybe Atticus focusing his attention on Fuego's mask took the ball off of maybe the Cogar brothers going after and getting tag team gold. So I agree with you. Cogar brothers are up there in my opinion. I would like to see them go after the tag belts.
Stackhouse and Fuego is another possible tag team there that I have no problem with seeing them carry gold. And last, I think they've also earned this. Los Desperados, I think, is another one that, you know, they're good mouthpieces. They can do everything that they need to. They're company people, and they have been around long enough that they know how to carry a belt. So there's another one that I think we can throw into the mix there.
Those are three strong tag teams I would put in there as well. I would even throw in a fourth in this match. I'd throw in Bang and Matthews. I think they've put in the mileage, and if they just kind of get on a little hot run here and are booked appropriately, I think they could make a good tag team run as well for to the belts. And that's another fourth team. So I going into this conversation, I was scared of where the tag belts would go, but even right now, that's 4 good teams and 3 good feuds we could possibly see with Violence is Forever and the tag belts. But we will see what happens going into collective. All right, our next matchup of the night was Zeta Steel versus Dan the Dad.
All right, so I'm actually a big fan of Dan the Dad. I think it's been a great character that no one else is willing to do. There's "That's my dad" chants coming from the crowd. The "It's just coffee" chants. Dad spills his coffee, and there were "You fucked up" chants. Wife and I also both thought that Zeta has probably some of the best looking gear out of all the women that we've seen at GC. Actually, overall, some of the best looking gear. It's got like this deep blue sparkle to it. Wife saw it first, and I'm like, wait a minute. Yeah. Fuego is another example. Since he was just here, good gear matters. And I can tell you, it just shows that there is a level to you that maybe others haven't seen yet. I don't know. I've seen wrestlers come in with their gear just, and even if they do well in the ring, they are still just somebody looking average that did well in the ring. But I mean, good gear, I know it's an investment, but there's a reason why it's called an investment, and that's because you can get something out of it on the other side. So, but yeah, more of a comedy match between Zeta and Dan the Dad, which was kind of funny because Zeta is like a Tony Deppen style heel. So the frustration is almost comical, and she's very good at showing that. What I mean also by comedy match here is more like there was just more drama between the moves. It wasn't move, move, move. It was move, and then you get to see both of them react to the situation. Then another move, then you get to see both of them react. Dan has a belt malfunction, which I thought was funny as hell. And I have to give Chicago credit for the "whoop that trick" chant. I'm always a big fan of that one. Our winner in this one was Zeta Steel. What do you think about this one, B?
This match was exactly what I thought it would be. The comedy spots with Dan the Dad, Zeta presented as a strong. Tony Deppen was a great comparison there. Yeah, I know when they had the match there, right, we kind of talked about it, but it really showed in this match, and it was what I wanted. It is what I expected, and the belt whip though from Dan was pretty loud. That one was that one caught my attention.
Satisfying.
So. Yeah, that one
was a satisfying
really...
noise. That's the crack you want leather to make when you hit it, you know?
Yeah, and yeah, I like great ones here. Not bad for a completely thrown together match. I thought this was announced, but anyway, it was from what everything that happened to this point, storyline, title changes, and what was following this match. This comedy was a perfect filler, but not filler in the middle, but nice change of pace, and it definitely hit its goal and what it expected. And Dan the Dan remains everyone's favorite dad in GCW.
Our winner here was Zeta Steel at a little under 9 minutes long.
Our next matchup was Gringo Loco versus Jimmy Lloyd. Oh yeah, that's right. Great. You're right. Great one.
Yeah, so I'll just Chicago is giving heavy support to hometown Gringo Loco here. Gringo was dancing, pulling off his sexy moves. He obviously had his Wheaties earlier today. He was feeling himself. A very fun fight around the venue. Fans were loving that a lot. They were trying to hand Jimmy beers to bash over Gringo's head. Again, participation in the crowd matters. Jimmy was building a door bridge, and I noticed the Chicago chairs have a lot of padding. You lucky son of a bitches. I hope you never have to go to the UCC and get on those hard ass wooden chairs. Jimmy was building that door bridge, and then it didn't go too well for the guys there. Our winner in this one was Gringo Loco. It was about 11-minute match. I felt here that this was a fun ECW style hardcore match, and the fans were just showing incredible amounts of love. I'm realizing now how many notes I had on the fans, but it matters to me. What were you thinking on this one? Anything?
Unfortunately, I just wanted to see more from Gringo here. I wish especially in Chicago, like this is not a knock on Gringo. I just wish there would have been like bigger match, a bigger feud, especially going into Collective Weekend. And they got the big match. Los Desperados do. I would have enjoyed him getting on the mic for a quick minute to hype up that match and kind of build some blood feud to make something of it, because that's a pretty big match on Collective Weekend. And last time Gringo, or every year Gringo at Collective always has a very strong feud, and he always has to carry it, being the GCW regular, and he always gets some emotions out of it. And I just feel like this year it's not, unfortunately, he's not being given the opportunity for one reason or another. But I thought this was a good match, and just would really like to see both kind of be in some sort of feud. Jimmy Lloyd going after the Ultraviolent title, or being in a TOS qualifying match, I think would be a pivotal point in his career right now. And they can make a cool story out of a match and see what happens there. But I want more from both of them.
Well, with Gringo, I have to say he's always there. He's always at the show. He's always doing his thing. He doesn't need it, but I'm not against putting some form of a belt on him and just seeing what a Gringo Loco run would look like. Maybe. What are you thinking? Sorry.
Those tag titles, like you had, I think that's the spot on move right now. Them versus Violence is Forever. Gringo or Arez are on fire as a tag team. Yeah, I would like, even as a feud, if Violence is Forever retains, it retains. But I would like to see them build them. That Fuego versus Stackhouse is a good one too. Kobe, that's hard. You brought up 3 good tag teams right away. That kind of put my theory to rest and my mind at ease. So we'll talk about that more here in a little, maybe a little bit later, or another episode.
We're only 2.5 hours in, brother. We got this.
Yeah, I know. No, we're going good.
We're doing good. We're at match 7 out of 9 on show 1. We're doing good, man.
All right. Next match was Dr. Redacted, John Wayne Murdoch, MM3, and Matthew Justice.
John Ash and GoPro split screen was perfect here. I also like that fenced in GCW graphic that's on there now. I also wanted to say here, it's been quite a long time. It's about time that we get another 4-way elimination death match. Thinking of the one like we had at NGI 3 with Takeda, Kadaka, Gage, and Crane. Something like that again would be fantastic. Maybe at TOS. We had a lot of Redacted chants here. I have to say Redacted and Murdoch work really well together. They really do crank up the violence level a lot. MM3 tosses Redacted like a lawn dart through a pane of glass and into Murdoch. That was a nice little spot I wrote down. But in a little over 9 minutes, our winner here was Dr. Redacted in all of that chaos. What were your thoughts?
I loved it. More MM3, please. This match was awesome. I absolutely love the Tally Hall. They let GCW use glass. I always forget that going into these shows. So I was pleasantly and happily surprised, and they all 4 of these people killed it. Dr. Redacted is on a roll. We've been talking about it week after week. The crowd is cheering, got the crowd behind them with another victor in this one. TOS is also looking very excited, and I've been more amped. Like, it's still like what, a month and a half away. Like, it's probably even farther away than that. And like, I'm actually getting more excited because of these qualifying matches, and it's making those matches have, even though the belt's not online, a big stakes at hand. And I've been enjoying all the qualifying matches. I've been loving all the multi-person death matches. I love the build that they're doing for TOS, empathizing also the ultra violence in places like Talia Hall whenever they're able to. We've been seeing a little bit more shift here towards some death matches when possible, and that makes fans like us happy. That makes other fans happy, and all these new matchups have been very refreshing as well. Justice being back, MM3 into the fold. Yes to it all, and more of it, please. Muted. Yes, we're all on mute today.
I was just going to say, damn, man, whatever you said, I agree with 100%. I'll keep it like that.
All right. Our next matchup was for the GCW World Championship, as it was Effie versus Microman.
All right. So, in a crazy turn of events, Effie was booed. The Microman fandom is strong at GCW. Effie dropping onto his belly instead of his knees was a funny little thing. And then Micro doing the Gringo Loco gyrating of the hips, I thought was fantastic. Micro with a huge crossbody off the stage, completely unexpected. Every time someone looks for a weapon under the ring when they're fighting Microman, I'm hoping they pick out like a small chair or ladder again. I was a big fan of like the Micro items. Micro's huge tope, his huge top rope crossbody through a door was also really impressive here. Again, big credit to Effie for putting everything into this match that he did, because again, we've said it before, the key to a Microman match is actually the creativity of his opponent. So we saw quite a few very different things here in this match that we hadn't seen before, and anything fresh and new is gladly welcome. Our winner here retains in less than 10 minutes. Effie, he just had a quick roll up for the win. What did you think in this match?
I agree with you. Effie going heel and getting booed was surprising, but as much as he was and kind of him embracing it, I thought was surprising, but also well needed. I think on his way to the belt, he already wrestled against every heel possible and kind of went through all those struggles and matchups. I think now as champion, let him be the cocky heel that seems to be a good way to go at this point. He went through the wars. He's went through everything he said on our show, on his own podcast, everywhere he's said anything. He kind of was the cocky, brash champion there, and he's now could live it. And I wouldn't mind seeing a little different version of a cocky heel champion for Effie. I enjoyed this match. I thought it was awesome. Micro delivered once again. And yeah, I just was kind of hoping for a little bit more now from Effie as a heel to kind of freshen up what could possibly be his title defenses going in or after Collective now, I guess, after the next promo we'll talk about.
So it's GCW, anything's possible. I would be interested in a Microman championship run. I'm going to be the one to say it, only because it would bring creativity. Now, would they be the greatest matches ever? No, but what you would see is something different that no one else could give you. So I'm thinking outside the box because that's GCW style. I wouldn't be against it because you also would have a face champion that the fans are always behind, which would then strengthen the heels if it's done right. I couldn't say he wouldn't put on unique matches. So I'll just go with that right there, especially with a fan base that's seen everything. Since January 20th, Effie said he has wrestled and defended at 10 promotions, 14 title defenses. Effie will wrestle anyone in any style. He puts over the GCW World Championship. He hypes up the Las Vegas Collective. And then Dark Sheik comes out, which again, welcome Dark Sheik. Again, it has been a while. And Sheik had said that Effie needs to be reminded that Dark Sheik is a badass, and then challenges for the belt at Big Gay Brunch. And Effie gladly takes that challenge. So it looks like the GCW World Championship challenge is going to be only at Effie's Big Gay Brunch that weekend. So if you're very interested in seeing that championship defense, and it's going to be a good one, definitely tune in to Effie's Big Gay Brunch if you want to see that. Those two will tear down the house.
Yeah, Sheik's promo was perfect. Spot on. brought up great historical facts, brought up of why Sheik deserves to get a title shot, shows why Sheik was kind of like the mentor and the leader before Effie. And I like how Sheik said that we don't need a leader. We need, or we don't need, of course, I forgot exactly what she said, but she worded it really good. Like, we don't need a leader, but we need somebody like to kind of represent us instead of leading the way that Effie's been leading. But the promo was amazing. It made perfect sense and was a perfect setup for the championship match at Effie's Big Gay Brunch. I didn't realize there was no title shots, that Effie was not being defending it at any of the other shows, which I didn't even realize. So I wonder if that stays, and if so, how that all plays out. That's going to be interesting, only having one title defense all GCW weekend.
Interesting choice.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any story behind it or anything, but this is the premier show for GCW, especially since they haven't been in Las Vegas in 2 years, and this is WrestleMania weekend, and you're going to have one of the most international crowds that you could possibly have at GCW. I'm really surprised it's not there, but there's a reason for everything. It could be time constraints. We don't really know. But yeah, I'm with you here. I was actually really surprised, because you figure that with a pedestal that the GCW World Championship is, you figure that you would be showing that off more. But we'll see what happens there. It looks like that, that World Championship challenge will, you have to go watch Big Gay Brunch to see it. And I think that's a nice selling point also. So I definitely say you're going to want to tune in, because this one thing that I'm going to say happens every year. I watch Big Gay Brunch and I end up falling in love with at least 2 or 3 performers I'd never seen before. And if I didn't watch Big Gay Brunch, chances are I would not have seen that individual, because I don't watch a lot of other wrestling outside of that, minus a couple little things. So, yeah, this is the time that if you're looking for something new or new performers, or you just want to see who's out there that you haven't had a chance to see before, and you are a wrestling fan, this is where you're going to want to see that. The next thing I just wanted to mention here was the TOS video for this year. I don't know who put that together, but that's one of the best videos I've seen come out of GCW. And one of the last huge videos I saw from GCW was a TOS video. So I don't know who's controlling those or who's doing those, but great job, guys, because man, do those things hit in the fields like they're supposed to.
The TOS hype is real. Like, I'm feeling it. Like, I usually don't get hyped, especially this far out. Maybe like a week out, I'll get the bug and watch all the other TOSs to get me hyped going into it. But man, I think it's the talent, the stakes at hand, and the matches that they've been delivering. It's the more emphasis on it has been a nice shot in the arm, I think, for the UV division as well.
Yeah. I was gonna say, yeah, Reed Harris said is it wasn't Fire J. I honestly think it probably was Ivan. I really do think it was probably Ivan on that one.
Yeah, probably. And yeah, speaking of the ultraviolent division, it's the main event as Matt Tremont defends the belt against Atticus Cogar.
Otis is out in white and black. I'm at a point right now where I feel like the Kogars can't do wrong in my eyes. I don't know what it is, but they have something there that I feel like the others don't have, and that's what makes them dangerous. Mid-match, Tremont brought out light tube bundles on a stick. Cogar had 2 thumbtack-covered wiffle ball bats delivering shots to Tremont's head. We had a water jug on a stick. Big fan of that one. A door was broken. The fork came out. There were thumbtacks. Tremont was yelling GC fucking W mid-match. That was practically a rallying cry for the fans. I will say Matt can rally a group. That's a gift that he's had for years. One of those huge bundles were smashed into Tremont. There was a cover for 2, and Tremont kicked out. Tremont then goes onto the top rope with the big second bundle, jumps off the top, and hits a huge splash onto Otis and covers for 3. Our winner here, and still the GCW Ultraviolent Champion, Matt Tremont.
Yeah, this was a war. Great way to end the night. Loved seeing the Ultraviolent Championship get in the main event. Even over Effie versus Microman. That's like I was saying earlier, the emphasis seems to be there. Otis has been on another level since coming in with Atticus. He has provided a much needed spark in the division, in my opinion, and just in general, not even the division, but everything he kind of did to, even as background for Atticus with the Megan Bain and Joey, even kind of what he did with Stackhouse the next night, and then also with Stackhouse in Arizona. Like Otis has been killing it. I'm happy to see him getting the chance, and he's been hitting it out of the park every time. So it's been cool to see from my end. And Tremont, his facial reactions were hysterical. Yeah, especially when he wins here and we go after that promo. His eyes are bugging out of his head. He's getting the razor spot at the end. His eyes roll. Like, yeah, Tremont's facial reactions were really good that evening. But it's been fun seeing him being a champion, and he's been a defending champion. So that's also been really fun to see in my book as well.
Okay, so I want to ask you a personal question real quick. What do you prefer better? Do you prefer a GCW death match and then at the end they surprise the individual and the fans with a TOS spot? Or do you prefer that up front they say TOS qualifying match, put it in the main event, and then do it? Which way would you book it?
Stakes, make the stakes worth it. Wins and losses matter. Like in my opinion, wins and losses matter. Just makes just common sense wrestling wise. I know it's entertainment, and a lot of what we see in GCW, the wins and losses don't matter, and in wrestling in general. But in my opinion, they do. And in my version that I like wrestling, I prefer stakes and wins and losses to be respected and to make sense. Just in realistic talk. So yeah, I would prefer that way, because it is kind of cool though. Like if it is like a spur of the moment kind of ones, like some of the ones we see kind of feels planned of like, hey, yeah, we knew that was kind of happening. But other ones, it's like, no, I could tell after that battle, like you're gonna get in. I got my talk. I'm gonna use my power and get you in like somewhere. Like those chances have been earned, but sometimes they haven't felt as earned as before. So for me, I prefer the stakes being added to it, and legit just wins, get in, lose, try again next year.
So do you prefer then that it's booked that before you see the card, you know that it's a qualifying, or would you rather it just be a card and then you get surprised? Okay,
no,
so
I like it now because I think that just gets people into it. Like possibly could show up because of those little stakes.
Thank you. That right there, promising a qualifying TOS match for a main event, you know is going to be a banger. You got to sell that.
Yeah, especially when you're able to do so at venues like this. And I was gonna say too, like I like even if the losers, like you lost your qualifying match, like let's do a little scramble or 6-way quick little hardcore match for like a wild card qualifying, or I don't know, like hey, if someone gets hurt between now and then, just don't fill it up with like whoever that person beat. Just give them all a chance and have there be a little surprise in there.
I like a second chance scramble.
Yeah,
I'm really for something like that. I don't know how it would work, and it could be kind of wild, but I mean, put 4 guys in a ring and whoever comes out on top, gets that second chance spot. Kind of like
sometimes you see one of, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say kind of like wild cards in football and whatnot, like, who gets the wild card spot. Sorry, bud.
No, I was going to interrupt you. Like I was going to agree. Like I think like during those qualifying matches, hey, like we'd already know like who's going win or loss, but like, hey, some of these people like show out that like, hey, that would be kind of cool. That reaction we got, they obviously the fans are behind them. Let's see, maybe give them another chance and see what happens in a scramble and see if the fans are really into them and give them a second chance to win back the crowd. So yeah, but it's neither here nor there. Whatever they're doing this year has been working and perfect, and I'm excited for TOS and just keep doing what they're doing now. It's been fun.
And I'm just going to say one last thing here because I want to agree with Clown and say that I love the straight razor spots. It was nice to see something different.
Yep. I agree there too. I don't know if we went over the promo.
Oh shit, I forgot to do the last part of it. Yeah, that's what a night we've had here. Matt basically gets on the microphone and I'll just make it simple. He says, Suzuki, I will see you in Vegas. So there we go. Rock and roll, man. I think Matt's gonna really put it down in this one. And I can't lie, I have a feeling this might be one that he was looking forward to having a match with.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Suzuki's definitely been on his radar. It seems like. I kind of hope Suzuki makes a video and kind of we should post it on GCW to get match reaction to it because I feel like
Mm.
too many one-sided stories being carried right now. A little quick video should couldn't hurt to kind of carry the other side of the program here.
What a
And
great
I'm being
point.
selfish.
Sorry.
I'm a Suzuki fan. I'm selfish.
Well, no, it's a great point though. I mean, one guy can yell all day long. You need to hear what the other one has to say to tell the story.
Yeah. All right. The next night, GCW returns to Pop's nightclub in Sauget, Illinois, with GCW's America's Most Wanted.
We're back at the sausage, everyone. The fat guy in me can't think about Sauget without saying the word sausage. Okay, so let's go to the other side. I don't know if this had to do with microphone or just people here, but in the beginning, especially, the crowd seemed very low energy, or at least came across TV on in the beginning that way. Maybe people were just settling into their seats, but I just felt like the crowd needed to be picked up a couple times by the performers, and that's rare. But yeah, sometimes it just takes a couple vocal people to pick up the whole crowd. But I felt like everybody was like polite clapping and more like that. So I noticed that as we got into death matches on this card, the crowd woke up. Isn't that funny? It's like they're enthusiastic about death matches at GCW. Um, yeah, I think that's all I needed to say. I kind of got into more than I wanted to in the intro, but yeah, man. Yeah. Anything else you can say about this? About Pops? We've been here a couple times before.
Yeah, just seeing knowing that I was gonna get death matches later made me excited as well because I always forget Talia Hall. I just always assume we can't do it, and then someone busts out the glass and the tread in me pops. So yeah, I'm happy to. I know I always make fun, like whenever I complain, like, God damn, we're going to Pops again for the 6th time this year. It's like
Yeah.
we're always there, but they always earn it, and the shows are always fun there. So I can't really seriously complain about it. Our first match was a 8-person tag team match, as it was the Bustas, Bang Matthews, Alec Price, and Brooke Havoc going against Team St. Louis as Scott Stanley, Jake Bosch, Cody Lane, and Dan the Dad.
And I'm hoping I got those names correct, guys. So I'm so sorry if I didn't. Jake Bosch, initially I thought it was Jake Botch, and I'm sure he's heard that 100 times, but I'm going to be 101 here. So it's Jake Bosch, Bosche. I smelled fresh talent in this match. The new guys have a ton of promise. They do their best to do everything as a team. In time, I feel that will equate to a stellar, unique moveset that you'll only see when you watch the new guys. Cody Lane, good speed, agile. He has a lot of tassels and a handkerchief. His gear looks good, but it doesn't fit his wrestling style. You can see he takes his craft seriously. I think he has incredible promise. I need to see what he's possibly capable of at the singles level. So if we have a chance, I would say it would be kind of awesome next time we go to St. Louis that we maybe have Cody Lane back over here. Bang and Matthews go to the top rope, and Dan the Dad says, "Get down from there." And one of them actually listens. So I laughed at the little Dan the Dad actually pulling a dad move, and Bang and Matthews actually listened like good boys would. Our winner in this one was Bustas, Bang, and Brooke. What did you think about this match?
I thought it was a fun mix of talent in this one. Perfect high energy match to start the night. I was happy to hear Emma on commentary mention seeing Alec Price get the win, and maybe he could start to regain his momentum as a singles competitor while Cole is gone. That's kind of what we were talking about earlier. I kind of hope it leads to maybe a JCW title or maybe a feud with Mason. Our next matchup was Megan Bain versus Zeta Steel.
So now, wasn't this a match that we were originally going to have the night before and then finally, okay. So this match here, sadly only 9.5 minutes, but at the same time, when all was said and done, I was okay with 9.5 minutes. We'll get into that. We had a WWE versus AEW match, if you essentially want to think of it that way. Zeta got injured. I think her ankle got landed on at one point. It was either an ankle or it was a knee. I couldn't really tell which one it was, but it affected the match. And I will say, no lie, It was not the match I expected. There were a few blown spots that really took away from what could have been an incredible match. A for effort here, but I think the injury really threw things off. I really did want it to be something special, something for the books that could have been watched years down the road, but this one, it just didn't happen today. I'll stop right there. Our winner in this one was Megan Bain. What were your thoughts on this match?
I thought this was a big test for Bane here, and yeah, I kind of agree with you. I think the injury kind of did affect what happened. I don't think this lived up to my expectations as well. I think Zeta's been doing a very good job character wise and the in-ring wise, in my opinion. What I would like to see is kind of feel like it's been I've been maybe expecting a little bit more than what I've thought I'd be getting, but I just think it all click, and it's also new talent she's wrestling, new faces, new promotions. And I think with her character work, though, she's going to be forced to be reckoned with, as you said, a kind of a Tony Deppen heel. And Megan Baden was good in this one. I think she kind of showed her growth here to kind of carry a match as a veteran, and that's maybe something we weren't seeing too much before her run in AEW. If I kind of go back to, maybe I completely wrong, but I feel like this match she was kind of more the veteran here. And yeah, I thought this was a good match, but I too was expecting a little bit more than what I thought I got.
I put here that I'd like to see Zeta spend a few weeks with Steph DeLander, maybe polish those skills and get coached a little bit. I do mean this in the most complimentary way. I feel that Zeta's on the road to being a great heel, and I think that if she has a couple more people under that she maybe gets under their wings there, that I think she'd be better off.
And the last thing I was thinking of, like, I don't know when Bane's going to be announced here for Collective or anything else, and she still has that title shot. What's kind of going to happen with that? And kind of Clown, you were saying about the brass ring. Yeah, what happens with Cole? Can he gift it to somebody? Does it just get put up this year at Collective? And hey, like you get 2 rings this year, one maybe 2 opportunities. I don't know. Like, yeah, there's a lot of question marks going into the Collective regarding a couple things, and interested to see how they're going to get answered and if they're going to get answered between now and then.
Yeah, great one saying that Megan and Bozilla. Yeah. I think that when Cole comes back, that brass ring cash should be the hey, I'm back. I think that's the way it should go. I think he should debut after 9 months with a direct cash just for the pop. Now, will it happen or not? I don't know. Oh, I see doubt. What are you thinking?
Okay, well, great one kind of ruined it here. Mentioned on one of the podcasts is not recognized any expiration date. I'm like, hey, there was a very clear statement, like going back to wins and losses. I remember there was a clear statement. They had 1 year to use it. So, but yeah, great one with the save here. And there goes my face. Then yeah, why not save it then? Let people forget about it. I wouldn't even do one at the Scramble. I wouldn't even do one at the. If so, maybe do one and then like they try to catch it at the end of the night. Like do an immediate one that day, so that way it's out of people's minds for 9 months and no one expects any brass ring at all.
I like that idea a lot. I do. All right. Well, then the Ringmaster, that was the ring announcer for Juggalo Championship Wrestling, had come out and announced the introductions for this next match.
Our next match was a 6-person tag team match, as it was the Wraith with the Backstreet Boys going against Danny Moe with the Brothers of Funstruction.
Okay, so I've heard of the Backseat Boys before, and I swore I've seen them on one of the it was like Bloody Mania or some shit. Well, maybe that was too long ago, but I've seen the Backstreet Boys a couple times before. They remind me of the Suavecitos out here in Las Vegas, like the size and the way they kind of piss off people and whatnot. I felt like this was going to be fun though, because I hadn't seen either of these teams before. We'll just say I'd seen Danny Moe before. The Wraith, who the fuck knows who that was? That could have been Yoshihiko under there for all we know. The Brothers of Funstruction, they fit the GCW aesthetic by my standards. And I was going to say, I actually, between the size and everything, I would like to see them come back again because they have the color in them that GCW fans like. They have personality to them. And over at GCW, we know personality can win sometimes over other talents.
I thought this was a good introductory match to the JCW talent, and the commentators did a great job laying the groundwork for the upcoming GCW versus JCW show. And we'll talk more, I guess, later about the after show footage. But yeah, I just thought this was a good match. I don't know, like for me, that was at JCW all over it. From what I've seen in JCW, I like the Willie Mack matches. I like the Caleb Conley matches. I like the Danny Moe matches. I like some of the matches. This one wasn't for me, but it was good for me to kind of actually get more invested into the JCW GCW feud. That was what the point of this match was, and it did hit that way. But for me, it was just kind of like, I don't like these guys. I hope we smash these guys. Like that's what I immediately thought of. Like I was like, yeah, none of these really hit me except Danny Moe. Hopefully, we let her slide on the feud. But other than that, I hope whoever goes against these people in GCW, smash them.
And Clown, who of course would know something, says, it amazes me the brothers wrestle in clown shoes. Hey, no shit, that cannot be easy because that thing's coming like 6, 7, 8 inches off of their toes. Could you imagine trying to run the ropes in that and not tripping? Anyway,
No,
also Reed Harris Cooper said the backstreet or the back. See, now you got me saying it. The Backseat Boys are the Graysons.
You were the one who said it first. Don't blame me on that one. I caught you first. That's why I was like, wait, I hope I didn't say that way.
I tried to pass it off, I guess. Yeah, that's all I had to say in that one.
All right. Our next match is Mance Warner versus Gary J.
Okay, so this here was an old school late 80s NWA influence with some modern weapons. It somewhat had that TV studio feel. I can't put my finger on it, but I've watched it for years. Brutal, a lot of slaps and chops. The St. Louis fans were solidly behind their local star. A badass top rope suplex by both men, and our winner here in a quite a good 16-minute match for sure was Mance Warner. And I will mention here the Robo Ginger also got an ovation on his exit. I can't say Robo Ginger without laughing. Our winner was Mance Warner. Good match. I'm a big fan of Mance Warner's work. Nothing different here that I would say otherwise. Great stuff.
I'm all here for big match Mancer. I love after the belts. I don't mind him getting the big matches against a Zack Sabre Jr., a Gabe Kidd. Nice little brawl here against Gary J all over Pops. Like I loved how this one was just, as you said, old school. These two stepped up and just delivered punches and brawled all throughout Pops Arena. And I thought that was a good match, but I'm all for Mance getting like these big matches. And he's at the point now. Love what his work he's getting in TNA wrestling. And I'm happy to see what happens with Mance Warner versus Gabe Kidd at Joe Janela Spring Break. I think that's what it was announced. And that is going to be, it's a nice lead into Gabe Kidd, and it's going to be a fun round 2.
Well, then the Chicago native announcer came down to Sajay to announce. I thought that was fantastic. I've also become a fan of Kirby's work over time, and I'm happy that GCW introduced him to us. That would then lead us into our next match.
I always like when MLJ steps down for these legend ring announcers. That's always cool of him. And he needs a break after all these weekends too.
He has 19 jobs in one day. He's got to have a break.
All right, our next matchup is for the JCW, the Jersey City Wrestling World Championship, as it is a 4-way match as Masha defends the belt against Caleb Conley, Jimmy Lloyd, and Blake Christian.
Wow, it's nice to see Blake back. He also has the most comfortable looking robe in the game at this point. I'm kind of jealous. Very busy in this match. I can say that he definitely did his share of the action here. Masha was showing off both belts. I was laughing that Blake didn't seem to like that in the beginning. If you looked at the entrance there, I think he kept going one belt. I didn't see much of Caleb Conley, unfortunately. I think that stinks because I really do like him a lot. He still shined when we did see him. He's also the current 2-time Juggalo American champion. It's same thing with Gabe Kidd. I mean, Caleb Conley is another one that I'm like, okay, that's a real wrestler doing real wrestling. So yeah, he's a nice addition to the roster. Masha did some heavy lifting in this match. Also, I didn't want to take anything away from her there. Our winner in this one in 10.5 minutes was Masha Slamovich choking out Jimmy Lloyd. My last note was just the match was full of energy. What did you think in this one?
I same thing as you. I was nice to see Caleb Conley back in GCW ring. I enjoy seeing him work. I could see more of him in GCW and be very happy. I was really hoping to see another surprise title change here, maybe this night, kind of like as we saw the previous night, maybe with Blake, or maybe at least a feud teased with Blake and Masha. And I like how you caught on that, because I did too, and that's what I wrote here. Never mind. I saw maybe that little wink and that little one of pointing to that belt. Maybe he's like, I'm coming for that belt next. I was all for it. Those two just always have great chemistry together. We saw it in both of their world title runs and defenses against each other. I think they would be very good series. You got TNA against Ring of Honor star going against the Jersey City Championship belt. That's a great way to elevate that belt. They would have a great feud. Like I said, they just always put on great matches, and I was happy to see Blake back in GCW as the Vanilla Baby character, and I just hope we get some collective dates announced for him, hopefully here soon, or as you said, possibly a feud or title shot against Masha for the JCW title. Yeah, and I would prefer to see that too. I didn't know that was announced as a singles match, but that would I would be definitely interested in that one. Just so you know, John, you're on mute again.
That's good. I wasn't saying shit important anyway. Yeah, Masha and Blake. I would like to see that ran back. Again, you know, Megan Bain has that title shot. That title shot is long gone. That title shot and the win of the championship should have happened months ago. I'll stand by that. And the one who backs me up there would be AEW and Tony Khan. They put her right in there and right on TV. They shot her ass right up to the top. That was literally almost the same exact quote I said when we first seen her for the first time. I said she's going to get a rocket strapped to her. She's going to turn, if there was one, the female division on its head. And here we are. She moves up to a bigger company, and now she's turning that division up there on its head. This is what I would have capitalized at the GCW level so that we could have put that champion moniker on her before she left. And that chance is now gone. But again, this is an issue where I feel like we didn't strike when the iron was hot, just like we could have had that Alec Price win. And then it would have went into the Megan Bain win. It could have then went from Megan Bain to a Sydney Akeem win, or someone else that could use this. And I know this is kind of a, you know, independent wrestling is kind of short-sighted. What's wrong with giving the people what they want then? Okay, so I'll just go ahead and move on there.
I muted myself that time, damn it.
Yeah. I figured I said all the damaging stuff myself there. We have the Atticus Cogar Fuego interaction that happened here. Atticus turns down the career versus career match. He calls wearing a lucha match a fake ass tradition. That's pretty strong. Fuego comes out, challenges Atticus' manhood. Otis then attacks from behind. Both brothers start to beat on Fuego. That's when Sam Stackhouse music hits and we have a brawl. Fuego and Atticus battle to the back, and that begins our next match.
Yeah, I just wrote that the promo time and Fuego being able to cut that heartfelt promo against Atticus this has been doing really good for the feud, and I'm glad they kind of were able to switch the parameters and stipulations there. It makes a lot more sense. It makes sense too that Atticus is holding the mask more important than his career. And it seems like, as we were talking with Fuego, his look when Blake kind of said that, or not Blake, when Atticus kind of said it's for your mask, Fuego looked kind of more scared than it did for his career. So it's going to be interesting to see how it played out. I'm glad they were able to twist it how they did. And yeah, I'm more that this is another thing. Atticus is doing something that's being probably one of the most talked about things going into collective weekend, and it's something that people probably wasn't giving it much thought of or much anticipation when it was first delivered. And Fuego and Atticus have been carrying it to another level, and it has been fun, and I can't wait to see what it does turn into at the collective.
I forgot to mention something before we move on. Such a dumbass thing, but if this was 5 years ago, I would have liked to have seen 5 years ago Statlander go up against Megan Bayne. At that time, they would have been a very equal matchup and could have been amazing. Statlander's grown since then in ring, but there would have been a time where they would have been an excellent matchup, and that would have been good.
I'd even Statlander versus Megan. It's good now. Next matchup is a death match, and it was at Otis versus Sam Stackhouse.
The fight happens before the bell. Eventually, the bell gets rang. Ring crew starts coming out with weapons in their hands, and I have to say, I like that presentation. It's like they're building the ring around the two fighters as the fighters are going at it. Otis was pushing thumbtacks into Sam's head one by one. That was pretty fucking hardcore. A switchblade style razor then comes out, carves up Sam. We talked about the straight razor the night before. Tubes get busted, chairs were swung. Sam goes through a light tube door bridge. The energy level is up with the fans. Like I said earlier, death match just works at GCW. You can take any crowd and it's just like you're injecting with adrenaline as soon as death match or even a hardcore match goes down at GCW. Here we have the winner is Atticus Cogar with a chair shot to the head. I'm really hoping there's more to this down the road. What were your thoughts on this one?
I was really looking forward to Deathmatch Sam Stackhouse. These two definitely brought the violence. Stackhouse has been really showing out as of late in any capacity you ask, and the crowd is always behind the big fella. Otis is definitely bringing new life to the UV scene and GCW in general, as I was saying earlier, and I'm happy to see him running with the ball with every opportunity he's been given so far. And this match was another strong match here with Sam Stackhouse, and it did get way more bloodier and violent than I was expecting, and I was happy to see it.
I'll move on from here and just go into the next spot here. You kind of said everything I forgot to say on this one. There was then the career versus mask announcement between Fuego and Cogar, and that is where I have to say I like the change. It actually ups the ante just a little because it's Fuego's mask is bigger than his GCW career. He goes all over the world. So having that mask off is actually way more important than just, I'm going to leave GCW. So I do like that they changed that because a lot of the fans, especially on our side, were thinking, well, Fuego must have gotten himself a position somewhere and we just thought this was one and done. Switching it to the mask changes things. And also this was spoken about probably a week and a half to 2 weeks ago, but Fuego wanted to come on to explain it himself. He's not talking with anyone and he doesn't have any plans of going elsewhere. So that match just isn't an automatic win or a loss here. And I like that also. So we'll see what happens on this one. This is exciting. I like storylines, man. We both love storylines.
Yep. And they've been able to turn two main characters of this and use the other two as nice and influential, and I think they're Otis and Sam Stackhouse are taking their roles in this whole being part of like the secondary feud and have knocked it out of the park as well. I've been really enjoying what both big men have been doing. Our next matchup was for the GCW World Championship as Effie defends it against Dr. Redacted. Muted again. Wow, we are on fire tonight, man. Hopefully no one's drinking tonight.
Dude, Walmart water must be a fucking wow. I don't know what's going on. I don't know. I think it's just we also have an extra long night here too. We're going into we're into hour 4 deep right now. So thank you for everyone staying with us. You telethon fans, we've got one tonight. Okay, yeah. So we had a keyboard spot. That's one of my favorites. At one point, Dr. Redacted came up to me in LA and he gave me one of the keys. I'm like, well, what is this? He goes, it was stuck in my head, dude. And I'm like, all right then. So now I'm a fan of the keyboard spots. I like how they blow up when you hit them. Redacted was flipping off Perch multiple times. I thought that was funny. More fuckery comes out mid-match. Again, that coming out mid-match, it's just, you could actually tell it was also a crowd pick-me-up And it also elicited GCW chants. I hope someone pays attention to that, because that's not only like a time saver, but also it can be used as a way to control the crowd a little bit. Things are just a little so. Bring out a couple things. Let them play with them. Crowd will come right back in no time. Effie came down on the lip of a garbage can and cut his forehead hard. Great job moving quick on assisting Effie there. He got wrapped up pretty quickly. Double green mist. I had to say that was pretty interesting. I don't think I've never seen a baby bird version of green mist before, but they did it quite well. There were also 2 bundles. A huge ending spot here with Redacted going through a glass pane bridge. And then Effie covers 4-3. So a little over 16 minutes here. Effie was our winner, and he retains the GCW World Championship. What were your thoughts?
I loved actually the voicemail. We didn't really talk about how the previous night show ended with the voicemail from Dr. Redacted, kind of hyping up the match going into the next night with Effie. Like, it actually kind of caught me off guard. Like, when I kind of heard it at the end of the show, I'm like, wait, is this like a giant tease here? And then it was still a nice little teaser into the next night with Dr. Redacted leaving a voicemail, kind of saying how he's going to destroy Effie in Pops in Sauget, Illinois. But I just really thought they played it again. I thought that was a cool little thing that we haven't seen GCW do. I think right now Dr. Redacted is definitely deserving of the title shot after his performance as of late since joining GCW. He's once again has delivered in every single spot he's been asked of, and his comments during the matches are fun. Like, I love when he's like, I hate this shit, or I fucking hate you, Effie, like whenever he's getting hit or slammed. So he's been a breath of fresh air too in GCW, and this match was ultra violent. It got brutal. It had the Effie spots and the Redacted. I once again, that baby bird spot, I loved it. It was innovative. It was good, and I thought this match was very entertaining and innovative, which was for me a nice title defense from Effie here. And him picking up the victory totally made sense, and I was kind of expecting something from Sheik here as well.
I like where it said a good doctor confirms the appointment. That was funny.
Yes.
Here. Colin said that. So yeah, Redacted says that Effie is hardcore. And he's going to win TOS. See you there. Now, I didn't have a chance to hit this last week, but I'll just play it for fun. I have when Dr. Redacted announced that he's going to hit TOS, and this is what he said, and then hit the end of the show. Hold on.
This is where you should TOS.
There we go. Yeah, real professional tonight. Let me tell you, this has been a very interesting night. We have had more little screwy things happen. I don't know what's going on. It's like our minds are on 100 different things right now. All right.
Our next matchup for the GCW Ultraviolet Championship, as Matt Tremont defends the belt against a returning The Bev.
Welcome back, Bobby Beverly. It has been so long. You were one of the 440 crew that we were just kind of happy to see kind of slowly work their way back in. I also like that they haven't come in at one time, and I also like that they're not interfering with a bunch of shit in a way like they used to back in the day, where it was more like a spoiler thing. I actually like the lack of safety in numbers, because then it allows the Cogars, Bev, to kind of breathe on their own and show how dangerous they are as single competitors, because then if they ever decide to work together, God, it's going to be nasty. Matt told the crowd, you better get the fuck up. I thought that was lovely, and it actually worked. Then the Bev put him through some class. It was the hot opening I think we needed, because the fans were just kind of beat up a little bit after that last match. Gussets came out early, barbed wire door bridges. Sit and hit is the best way to put it. That's where you get the chairs out and you sit across from each other and just hit each other, independent wrestling style. I just decided to call it a sit and hit. A bundle gets smashed between both with a crossbody. I thought that was really fun to see. And then we get the Bev crashing through a light tube bridge. There were busted chairs everywhere. Tremont climbs up top, grabs a tube bundle, hits a huge splash on the Bev, and covers for 3. Our winner in less than 8 minutes here was Matt Tremont. And that's when Matt grabbed the mic and said that Bobby Beverly is going to TOS 10. What do you think on this one?
Welcome back, Bev. Yeah, I was the same way. I went Otis and Atticus. I was cool with at first. I didn't want anyone else, and if they were to bring in anyone, it would have been, in my opinion, I want Bev, but also to stay away from Atticus as well. And if they ever need to go to it, they can. But Bev's been killing it on himself by himself as well, and this match, I think, showed the GCW crowd and faithful what they've been missing with the Bev as of late and what he's been doing elsewhere around the world in other companies. So to have him come back to GCW and be on top of his game as he was, I'm excited. And I was really shocked for the TOS. Like, I thought maybe he'd be given a qualifying match, not just have one match back and boom, be in TOS. But his work outside of GCW as of late, I think, has spoken good enough on him, and I'm excited to see the Bev and TOS. And as I was saying earlier, TOS is, for me, I'm more excited this one than I think since 666. I think as a live TOS, as a tournament, I haven't been excited. I was excited for TOS 7, but more just because Jun Kasai versus Nick Gage, like that's what I was excited for. But yeah, TOS 10 is looking very interesting this year. Muted again, man. You're on fire.
Okay, so you want to know what's really going on? I'll tell you what's really going on. One of my windows over here is like letting by just the simplest crack of air, and you obviously know it's like windy here tonight, and it's making like a whistling sound. So I'm sitting here like muting so you don't hear like this weird fucking train sound going through my microphone the whole time, which has created all these problems tonight. So sorry about that, guys. Did you go on to the next match or no? I'm so sorry. I really do have my mind like off tonight, really bad.
No, I didn't. I just talked about the Bev being in TOS.
Okay. So yeah, I can't think straight, man. I'm on to the next match in my head. I don't know, dude. I think it's just I'm getting tired. Maybe is what's going on. Anyway.
Main event here of GCW's America's Most Wanted is a death match, as it is Too Tough Tony teaming with Mickey Knuckles going against the Rejects. Take it away, John.
Well, we'll see what happens here. It's nice seeing Mickey Knuckles at GCW. For a company that say they're the last outlaws, we need more outlaws. Keep them flowing in, by all means. She's one of them. I mean, Hall of Famer, why not? Like, that is literally the never say die tough attitude. Like, that is GCW, is someone like Mickey. I'm really surprised we haven't seen her a lot more sooner. Tony has the shots flowing, Mickey's swinging battle axes. I said, this is my kind of match. To make it even better, the Rejects come out second. They're irritating the crowd. They laugh at some juggalos, steal their sign, and then fail to rip it. I love seeing fans that have signs that are unrippable. It's kind of breaks the character just a little. Murdoch stomps the shit out of it. Then I got hit with inspiration. How about Microman and another smaller wrestler get together and they could be the Rejects? I'm sorry, but I think it's fucking funny. And again, I must have been watching this late, but yeah, I think we should we should have the Rejects. We could have Microman and who was the other one? Who was I was thinking of the person in Phoenix.
Hornswoggle.
You know what? Fuck it. Hornswoggle goes in. We're gonna have Hornswoggle. Yeah, down in El Abismo Negro, I think, was the small.
Oh yeah.
Micro. I think those two would do great together. They could be the Rejects. I think they could even dress the same too. It'd be hilarious. I'd love to see like a little flannel shirt that size on him. Murdoch pops the ringmaster with the glass tube. I thought that was a little dirty. Mickey got hit with a bunch of tubes and it may have sliced her face. We ended up finding out later it was her eyebrow and her nose. And if you want to know where that happened, you can see where I think it was Reed Bentley. He'd actually taken a bundle of tubes, or a tube bundle, and he'd actually threw it down onto Mickey, who was standing on the floor. And you can see that's the last time she does anything in the match. And on the next shot, you can see, I mean, she's leaking blood hard. If that was my cut, I would have been a lot more nervous than she was about it, but that's why she's the professional. Brutal main event. 15 minutes long. Again, a very satisfying and fun main event, the type of main events I would like to see more at GCW, and we are seeing more at GCW. Our winners here, Too Tough Tony and Mickey Knuckles. What were your thoughts on this one?
It was that was a main event, man. Like seeing Mickey was very entertaining. She definitely belongs in GCW. That was the one name when I saw, I was like, whoa, she's in GCW finally. Like, let's see what's going to happen here. And her teaming with Too Tough Tony going against the Rejects. This was better than I was anticipating. This was fun. It got violent. Yeah, Mickey is a warrior. She definitely, as you said, one performance that belongs in TOS. That was one performance I think left her mark and definitely showed the fans how tough she is, and good first impression for maybe a lot of newer fans. And yeah, she killed it. And Too Tough Tony, always fun as hell. And this was Too Tough Tony and the Rejects are just a perfect blend of matchups. And this was a fun main event to end the night. Got him again.
I'm gonna go back and get a count. I think I may have hit 10. I might have hit 10 fuck ups in 3.5 hours tonight. This is a new record, I think, by my standards. Okay. Anyway. All right. Let's get into this upcoming show we have. We only have one show to review next weekend. That would be on Sunday, April 6th. We have GCW's The Philly Special from Harris Casino and Racetrack in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I don't even have the listing on the thing. I think this is where I just hit a fucking wall. I swear I'm run by Duracell batteries and I only have so much in me before I die here. Yeah, sorry guys for all the professionalism tonight that's been going on around here. I have wind that's literally coming through a crack in one of my windows and I need to shut it and just didn't. So I've learned from that. Was there anything else on this weekend that you wanted to talk about?
No, they just had the after show. They had the concert and like the little ruckus and brawl that we didn't really review, but it was another fun way to set up GCW versus JCW, and I want to see more of that kind of stuff happening in GCW. I had that in the notes from the prior show. Definitely a lot of more of those kind of little videos, those more authentic setups and kind of ways to further promote feuds and shows. I'm all for that kind of stuff. It makes each show, like even at the end, that Dr. Redacted video, like I'm so glad usually you see that fight and I'm usually like out of here, but I was a little slow and I'm glad I didn't, because like that voicemail is cool, and I hope they kind of do those little teasers to reward the fans a little bit more coming up here going into Collective.
Well, it's like a secret track on a CD back in the 90s. If you just let it play long enough, there might be something special on the back end for people who really pay attention. I like hidden secrets like that. I really do.
Same.
Alrighty, guys, we got 3.5 hours in on this one, and we had listeners still flowing in on the second half of our show. So thank you so much for that tonight. Wow, what a night. We had Fuego, who did awesome and gave us much more time than we expected, and then turned around and gave us like engaging answers that really gave us all, real substance. And that's always nice to have. So on my end, I'd have to say I feel like we had another good interview go down, and I feel like it was thorough, and we gave them the respect that they deserved. But yeah, down the road, I would like to have him on again. There were quite a few subjects that I completely skipped over that would be fun to go back to on another show down the road, but we'll see. But overall, super thankful for Fuego coming on. That was absolutely awesome.
Yes.
Big
Micro to Fuego again.
Did you see Microman and Swoggle? They could be in a WLC too. We've got the best listeners.
All right. Yeah. That was a busy night.
It was more than a busy. Yeah. They saw all the cracks fall apart on this show with me tonight. That's okay. It happens.
Thank you again, everyone. Big shout out. Yeah. Fuego, Stackhouse for hanging out in the chat. Everyone with those questions. I apologize. There was about 3 of them I left hanging out tonight. We'll we'll get better here. But it was like you said, we tried
We'll
doing
get
2
better.
shows with the review and an interview, but we're gonna get better. We promise. We got this. And yeah, fun weekend going into next weekend. And thank you all again for hanging out and 3.5 hours of Game Changer Weekly this week.
Yeah, no shit though. A couple months ago, we would not have done the reviews with the interview, but people have wanted the reviews so much that it only made sense to sit down and just have it. And as long as we can stay awake, we're going to hang here with you. So thank you so much for being here with us tonight. And just like always, we will be seeing you next week, or we should be seeing you next week. All right. What do you say, B? Was there anything else you want to talk about before we head out?
No, that's all that we got. Stay tuned next weekend as we will talk about the Philly special.
And Cole Radrick's GoFundMe down there. If you have a
Yes,
chance,
please
just
check that
maybe
out,
help
everyone.
put it out.
All right, ready?
No. Long.
Live,
Live.
C,
C.
W.
W.
Thank you, everyone.
Love you.